Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday, October 31st, 2023. Happy Halloween! And happy last day of Filipino-American History Month. I'm your host, Gian Ochoa, the internet's favorite kuya. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast, episode 813. I'm joined by a bunch of Magulo babies. Jeff Grubb.
Can't believe you kuya zoned us.
Yeah, that's right. I kuya zoned these three gentlemen, my favorite kuyas. Honorary kuyas. That's right. Honorary kuya and dealer of all things Halloween, Jeff Bakalar.
That's right. Happy holidays, everybody. It's the spooky day. Get your Halloween plates ready to go because I need to escape my house. It's bad. This is a call for help. This is a call for help. I've broken kayfabe. I'm being serious right now. Get me out of my house. It's a Halloween nightmare. Thanks. Yeah, Halloween.
You have 400 children who are going to be in your house for an hour and a half this evening.
Yep, they're going to break
Halloween.
Yeah, they're going to break all my pinball machines. It's going to be great. But at least we've got the Beetlejuice on loop out of the old CRT TV. That's honestly the only thing I needed to do, and I got it done. And we're gonna have a happy Halloween.
Speaking about Beetlejuice, we have our own Beetlejuice here. Our dear friend
Mitch,
and yours.
Otho.
Mitch.
Mike MiNa'vi.
Jan, trick or treat?
Is this like a riddle? Are you like sphinxing me right now?
It's a question. It's pick one or the other.
You know, we out here tricking in the streets, so I'll take a treat today.
Mike MiNa'vi.
There was no. It was going to be the same both ways, huh?
Mike MiNa'vi.
It was going to be the same.
You can't feel yourself like that, Mike.
No, if it was a trick, I would have tore off my mask and would have been Bailey under here or something.
Oh, that would
being like,
cool.
I hate good candy.
I've got some good news in my household. My kids are into Ghostbusters suddenly. I didn't even try.
Nice.
I don't try to force these things on the kids, but Steph was watching it yesterday. It's one of her favorite movies. And the kids were like, who's this Slimer guy? We are way into him. And we have like this little play backpack, Ghostbusters backpack that we've had for forever. And we have a Slimer standee that holds the candy bowl.
Oh, cute.
At Halloween. Yeah, and they got both out and they were just running around. One was being Slimer, the other one was being a Ghostbuster. And they were playing it all night last night. I'm like, oh man, that just happened. Suddenly they're into Ghostbusters. So yet another thing from my childhood I could share with my kids until they get bored of it and destroy my heart.
No, it's not going to happen because the generations are holding Ghostbusters up. They are passing the baton generationally because I just got back from a elementary school Halloween parade, and by far the most popular costume is a Ghostbustin'.
Now, is that by choice of the child or the parent?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Is that all the Greg Millers of the world making their kids dress up? Yeah.
I didn't interview 400 little fucking kids, okay?
7 and 8 year olds, if you met a 7 and 8 year old, you know they're not going to do the shit their parents ask them to do. They have an idea of what they want to be, and they're going to be it.
Okay. Well, not your 7 or 8 year olds. They wouldn't respect you, but maybe other kids.
That's fair.
Their parents.
Maybe it's very personal.
Yo. So this is my TikTok check of the week. Apparently, Spirit Halloween stores, wherever else they sell costumes, are selling out of the Scream mask because people be getting mad sucio because adults be having an adult time wearing that mask.
I think people like the idea of like a horny guy in that mask, right? They like that.
Do they?
Yeah.
That's not what I want.
I've seen some stuff on TikTok. I have.
They're like, oh, this person's here to murder me. Just kidding. It's time for sex.
Yeah. It's like, oh no, they're here. Let me just show you a little bit of my butt.
You know what? I've turned around on the matter. I'm in.
Y'all got a favorite Halloween costume from days past?
My friends and I did a Jurassic Park group costume once, and I was the old
Michael
guy.
Crichton?
Not Michael Crichton. No,
John Hammond. John
Hammond. That's it. Blinking. Yeah.
So you're Peter Jackson in Lord of the Rings and Dr. Hammond.
Yeah,
What up? That's so
He's got
weird.
a vertical. He's got a thing that he does. Yeah.
The best part was there's a girl in the friend group, and we're like, okay, so you could be the girl from Jurassic Park, and she rightfully got mad and instead just sewn together a T-Rex like costume.
Hell yeah.
T-Rex instead.
Hell yeah.
Hey, that T-Rex is a girl too, though. So she.
Okay,
that's
then.
right.
Well,
Yeah.
dang it.
As far as we know, yeah.
I guess you could have spontaneously changed sex. And they do that in the movie.
Frog DNA.
Frog DNA. I
Frog
was
DNA.
Raccoon Mario or Tanuki Suit Mario.
Oh, that's
in
cool.
3rd or 4th grade or something like that. My mom helped me build that costume, and that one was a big winner. A lot of the kids were a big fan of that, and I loved it because I like Raccoon Mario a whole bunch.
I went through a period of time where I made cardboard costumes. Like one year I made not giant, but like a pretty big like cardboard Kirby. My favorite cardboard costume is I made the Magic School Bus one year. It's great.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
My kid's doing a cardboard. She's going as Nyan Cat, and we had to build that out of cardboard.
Oh, that's cool. That's really smart.
Yeah, except for no one knows who Nyan Cat is, so we have basically explaining that.
I'm sorry, Grub. I had to do it. Yeah.
A lot of her day is going to be explaining it. That's okay though. I have a lot of good memories of my mom making like a custom Ninja Turtles costume. The Ghostbusters Ninja Turtles. I feel like we alternated for a couple years there.
Same.
And not to say like, there's just it's so easy to just get like a $20 Amazon costume now, and they're good. Like they're good costumes. It's not like I'm saying back in my day costumes used to mean something. They didn't. They look like shit compared to what they do now. So good for you. There's nothing like getting on that belt, with the M on it, and you're like, today I'm fucking Michelangelo. Well, I am Michelangelo. I'm not fucking Michelangelo.
Whoa! You were assuming the person.
Hey, Cowabunga, am I right?
All right. Cowabunga.
Yeah.
So I do miss those days. And then one year I was a gangster inexplicably, and I just had like a
type of gangster?
What kind of gangster?
Yeah.
I was like a mafia 30s gangster.
Wow. How dare you?
That is Italian discrimination. I'm sorry.
It's Italian discrimination.
It's anti-Italian discrimination. Thanks, Silvio. I was doing that for a while, and like I just remember the gun being like it would rat-tat-tat in a way that
like
I
a Tommy gun.
upsetting. Yeah.
It's a Tommy gun, a practical gun. How come we don't like?
I'm not sure that's a gun people use anymore with the clip, with the dish clip.
Those drums, I think they jam like constantly. I would imagine they jam constantly. They were really unreliable.
Yeah, they're only good for video games.
Look cool.
They do look really cool.
They look
that's
fantastic.
That's some like Dick Tracy bullshit right there.
It's Dick Tracy or Angels with Dirty Souls.
Oh, sure.
The fictional movie from Home Alone.
Yeah, from Home Alone.
I don't know why.
Did you believe?
For so long.
It was real. Yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah.
Until fairly recently, Jeff Grubb.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Same.
Really?
Not like, okay, recently as in like probably like 10 years ago when I started watching Home Alone again. And I'm like, okay, I get that this is not real. But for a very long portion of my life, that's a real movie in my brain.
It's still a real movie to me.
Dick Tracy's still fucking amazing, by the way. Like, go watch that movie. That movie's fucking
wild. It's
hog
wild.
It's really
Disney,
good.
So of course it's good.
Is it?
Oh, that's Disney, straight up.
I thought Warren Beatty's holding on to that license literally.
He has the rights. He does actually have that, but
he does have
they
that.
Produced the movie.
But Disney made the movie. Yeah.
All right. Well, it was a good fucking movie, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Halloween being on a Tuesday, it's stupid, right?
Oh, very stupid.
You do the adult celebration on the weekend. When is the trunk or treat or little stuff for the kids?
Trunk or treat was on the weekend.
That was the weekend. I had a wedding on Saturday, and on our way to the wedding, we're like navigating through a sea of pirates and ghouls and goblins. And
well, that's classic New Jersey.
Trick or treat's just tonight here.
Yeah. And I also had
there's trunk or treating thing where like people go out to like parking lots. And there's a bunch of cars.
That thing.
Yes, but trick or treating is tonight here. And that reminds me, I want to say, hey, watch out when you're driving tonight. If you're driving, those kids aren't going to be looking out for you. You look out for them. If just like 5 of you listen to that, we can probably save some lives tonight. So
slow the fuck down.
Just slow down and look out for them, please.
And then yesterday was my wedding anniversary, because if I couldn't convince you that my wife is obsessed with Halloween, I got married on motherfucking Mischief Night. Okay, that's what happened. That's what happened.
In Detroit, it's called Devil's Night. Please.
Right. It's only Mischief Night, I think, in Jersey and New York, as far as I'm aware. It's a regional thing. But yeah, it's great. Things are really over the top here. I'm not, there's a couple houses in town, you guys, that are just like, I don't know what they're going to do with all this stuff tomorrow. What are they going to do? Are they going to burn it all? Where's it going to go? The house isn't that big. I don't understand.
Do they have storage? Do you think they have like storage, like dedicated storage things that they rent for that stuff?
So help me figure this out, guys.
Okay. I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
There's 2 houses on a street, okay, near my home. Beginning of October, they started off pretty sparingly, pretty sparse, right? Couple of like mummies in the yard, whatever. As it got to like this week, things slowly but surely ramped up. And I passed by on Sunday and you can't even see the lawn. Okay? They've like, and it looks like they look like stores. I don't understand what happened. Were they like keeping up with the what is it? The Benjamins? Is that the
Jones?
Yeah, sure. Why it's Joneses, but Benjamin's is better.
Right? Keeping on. And like they just went tit for tat back and forth. And I feel like it just got crazy. One of them got the thing from Stranger Things. And then the other people got the Stranger Things. And then one person got these cool witches now.
David Harbour?
Demigorgon. And then like the witches now that look like they're floating. Have you seen those? Those are sick. Those are like the new skeleton things. It's just crazy. And I don't know what they're going to do with their stuff now. And they've ramped it all the way up to like, now it's just Psychoville.
Do you think they're going to sell this stuff? Or I think you just, if you have that much stuff, you have to just get a rent a center thing or whatever. Not a rent a center, but a shelf.
So you're renting a storage locker for 10 months? Like what the fuck's going on?
I mean, I think they probably just keep it and then like you just
probably all year round, yeah.
And you keep your Christmas stuff in there and your Halloween stuff and you get it out as
I guess it is so much. I got to take a photo of this. It's psychotic. You can have too much of a good thing. You honestly can.
I mean, that's us every Tuesday. You know, too much of a good thing. And that's why I'm happy to announce, if you didn't hear this earlier, and if you only listened to the Giant Bombcast, I'm happy to tell you, folks at home, that starting this Friday, we'll be starting another episode of the Giant Bombcast.
Yeah.
Titled Giant Bombcast Revengeance.
We're going to slice you off some more Bombcast.
Nanomachines.
That's right.
Yeah, nanomachines.
Forget AI. We're jumping all the way into nanomachines. The technology's not there, but we're going to record a podcast anyway. We're aiming for it to be like an hour, 90 minutes, more condensed podcast, talk about the games that we missed earlier in the week on Tuesdays, because sometimes embargoes are a little bit odd. But also sometimes there's, we want to chat about some stuff more. Maybe we dive deeper into stuff. Grub, like also we're planning on having like a specific topic, like a magazine.
Yeah. Magazine to this show is kind of like, we're catching up on the news, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it'll be same feed. So it'll just pop up. If you're already subscribed, you're going to get it. And you'll see the different name on it, Revengeance. And we're going to keep the numbering system. So the main podcast will be the number, and then this will be the number plus Revengeance. But yes, we're going to try to bring some interesting topics each week to talk about, and that'll fill up most of the time after we talk about any games we might have missed. And this can be where like spoiler discussions live and that sort of thing in the future. So this will afford us a lot more opportunity to talk even more about games.
This also affords us the opportunity, since it's going to be on Friday afternoons, to extend the invite to Tam and Lucy, who are always super busy during the week, but also Emma and Bailey as well. And Mike's always here. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, maybe he's not. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, yeah. Not this Friday, anyways.
But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Bombcast Revengeance. I'm just thinking BCR in my head, and it just feels really good.
Yeah, that's good.
It feels good.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about some games. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just planting a seed for this. Maybe we get some new seg music.
Sure.
Maybe we get some new segment.
I can do it.
How does that happen?
I don't know. Oh, okay, Mike.
He just says it and it happens.
Mike, you're going to make some tunes? You're going to make some segues?
Yeah.
Can whistle.
No, I was just singing my name and stuff some more.
Oh yeah, that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for, bud.
Mike, Mitch, Mike.
We want people to listen, Mike.
Sometimes I wonder why we bring Mike around. This is Bailey's.
Wow.
This is Bailey's free week. We could have just grabbed her.
Wow. Did Bailey play Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora?
You're right. I know,
Mike.
I no longer
put that on that list.
Didn't even put it on the list.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that's right. That's why I'm here. That's right.
Well, now I no longer wonder, but I still Super Mario Brothers wonder. We've been playing this across the board. Did we talk about this last week? I don't even remember.
We did. I think we did.
I can't remember.
I'm positive.
Dan talked about it. Yes, Dan had played it, right? But by then, yes.
Well, where are we landing on the Wonder now?
I finished it. I 100%ed it. That's a fantastic game. It shot up to near the top of my Game of the Year list, if not the top. Sure. Big part of it is amazing to play, but every single little element regarding the game is really well done. I think it has the best multiplayer for the way I play games these days, where it's like, hey, play this together separate. And you can hang out online, and whether that's with strangers, kind of journey style, we're just going to pair you up with these random strangers. You guys can play through a level, and you're going to end up helping each other because the way that the game is rigged up, it is impossible to do anything but either help each other or ignore each other. There's no detrimental thing you could do to someone else. It is just positive experiences you can have. And so you're looking for something, you can't find it, and then someone's like, oh, I think this person's looking for the thing I just found. I'm going to go hop over there and jump in that place and kind of maybe put a standee down. And then I'm realizing, oh, this person's trying to communicate to me. I'm going to go over, oh, look, it's right here. I just jump up this little corner I missed. I'm going to hit the thing, and thank you so much. I found the thing. And it doesn't feel like cheating or spoilers, because it feels like part of the experience, and it's magical. And that's just the random people. Playing with you guys when we played online, that was amazing too. The fact that we could just kind of be exploring this stuff together. The first experience of like getting into the game and learning how to play it, and be like, okay, let's share some ideas. Look at this. There's this little hidden thing on the overworld map. Now I know to look for hidden things on the overworld map. And then obviously the racing is just so my stuff. I'm so into that. I think for me the package itself is so refined and so well done that I'm in love. There are a couple of things I wish that there was a batch of even more difficult levels. Yes. But I'm not really holding that against the game so much, because I'm now kind of getting to a point with it where I'm like, I can make these levels more difficult by trying to run them even faster, or using something like one of the badges that makes it so you kind of are always running. This is one of a late game badge. I won't spoil too much about like what it actually does, but it can make things more difficult, but it can also speed things up. And then you can do these really awesome like speed runs of these levels. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I can kind of force my way into making this game more difficult by actually treating it like a speedrunner, and then it's just a blast all over again. But still, it's like maybe a batch of slightly more difficult levels wouldn't be. I wouldn't hate that. I would really welcome that. But just overall, I just am in love with this game.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I would also like. I am at the very last level. I think the final level. So that's all I'd love to do. And, I'm excited for that, because I do want to do like some challenge levels, and I do like those ones in the special world. But yeah, if like there was a whole nother world even of more of those, I would be all about that. I would gobble that up. If that was DLC even, I'd be pretty happy.
How does Nintendo carry this like positive online interaction momentum to like another title?
It should be in everything. This online mode should be kind of a standard thing going forward for so many of their games. It doesn't have to be implemented in this exact way going forward. But any game where you can be doing stuff online to sort of have the, it's a journey, but also from software, right? Where you see ghosts walking around. Yeah. It's very much like that. There's a way to
definitely have it. Which one should definitely do is Luigi's Mansion 4. Like literal ghosts.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be
fantastic. Yes.
I need that.
And then I think it encourages them to be even more devious with their design, sort of be like, it's okay if we make these things a little bit more challenging or a little bit more hidden, because people will be crowdsourcing the solutions. And that, again, that feels magical. So, and it's optional, right? Mike, you played the game offline, right? I did
for a while, and I played through it offline, but then when I was going back 100%ing, then I did have that mode turned on. Honestly, I turned it on just when I was playing with you guys for the racing here, and then like never turned off again. I was like, yeah, this is actually kind of fun. I do like this. I think at first I was like, I don't want to see these assholes running around, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But no, now, especially going back, and sometimes I am just like looking for one of those purple coins and I don't know where it is. It is nice just to have a little help. Or if I do fall down and die, instead of having to restart the level, I can just be a ghost and run to another player, get a little help that way. And yeah, there are these really fun moments where you are going through a stage with somebody, you're popping each other's ghost bubbles, you're spamming your emotes. It's very charming.
You know what it reminds me of, like this very positive interactions with playing with people online, is the first time I booted up Apex Legends. and how clever the pinging system was, and like, you're not really chatting with anyone. Maybe we shouldn't talk to people.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely not.
Nonverbal communication is like huge with humans, and games have like forgotten that, or like didn't believe that they could capture that. And it's like, actually, video games would be really good at this. And so, and now we're getting to a point where that's actually manifesting, which is really nice. I'll just say the big thing for me with this game is it just feels so expressive when you're playing, and you can play in so many different ways. And it's like the game itself is so well animated that it feels alive, but then you can attach whatever badge you want and play your own style. And I think it really speaks to playing can be performance, and this game nails that. Or at least you feel like you're part of a performance, right? You got all these expert players putting together this game, like this awesome jazz band of like, we're gonna do all this wild stuff, and you hop in and you try to play along with us, and they make it so easy to feel like you are jumping in and an expert player alongside of these amazing developers. That's where I really just feel like, I'm slotting into this one of a kind of experience, and I just love it.
It's great. I'm not going to go through everything you guys just said. I agree pretty much on everything. The only problem I have is local. I just don't think that's what it really, I don't know, could be. At the end of the day, I don't really have an answer to how you fix that unless you like literally split the screens.
Yeah, so you're talking about the camera following one character or another, right?
Yeah, and having it like switch mid-level too, which is sort of
Sonic Superstars
insane.
has the same problem, and anytime a Mario game has the same problem as Sonic Superstars,
yeah. I think outside of which, look, you're talking about how the game plays really well for what you're looking for. Like, I've said to myself, not out loud because I don't want to break my kid's heart, but like, I'm gonna play this without you too. I'm gonna play this without you because you suck at this, and I'm better right now in life. How
many Switches do you guys have?
4? No.
Jeff, like, not ironically, yes.
We have one.
Okay, I was good because if there was a way for you to like, and if you have the game digitally and all that stuff, you could do the system sharing and maybe play online together, and that's probably the right way to do it. Which is also not a great. It's not. Local should be better. I agree.
Local should be better, but I also, I say when you complain about something, you should offer a better way to do it, and I don't have that second part of that. So
I think it'd be they can't. You're right. They can't. I guess split screen is really the only answer, and that's not great.
And that's not fun. That kind of blows. Or maybe like, I don't know. I had this idea of like someone playing handheld and someone playing on the screen.
If only they had a system like that.
Well, we have a new story for you here today. We'll get to,
There you go. More screens.
More screens, please. I'll take more screens. But anyway, like the game, it's so amazingly creative and designed with perfection. Like, it is so great to experience this right here and now, where like I had a lot of high hopes, maybe overly lofty expectations for this game, and to see them all met and more is really super satisfying. So this is easily top 4 for me for sure.
Oh damn, this is climbing.
It's very specific. Most people say top 3 or top 5.
I like specificity. Mike.
We're at a point where we're putting together some lists and stuff for reasons. Knows what 3 games are ahead of it.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
Top 4. I feel like it's number 4 then.
Let the adults do the work here, Mike.
Okay, I got you.
Mikey, baby Mikey.
Baby Mikey ain't happy.
Someone give him a list to fill out, baby Mikey.
I do like lists. Oh, I like lists.
We all love lists. The internet loves lists. I really want to eventually find out about how much of the younger members of the team, how much their input weighed in. Because I'm curious of like the ghost implementation in this. Is that like an idea from a younger member of the team or something that like a senior?
Right? It has to be, right?
Yeah.
Has to be.
We didn't we learned from what Tam and Lucy talking in Nintendo that younger people in the staff were why we don't have the timer anymore, right?
Right. Yeah. So I'm wondering if their input also informed some of like the online stuff, because it's got to be frustrating working at Nintendo, maybe like a younger dev, and just hearing the constant barrage from the internet about how poorly Nintendo implements the internet. When it's like, guys, we could just do this way, just do it, just flip the internet switch on, and we could do it.
Yeah,
we could really do it well.
It feels super informed by a lot of recent games and mostly from software games, and that feels like it's coming from a younger audience or a younger development pool at Nintendo. That there's no. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if Tezuka's like, yeah, I played those games. This was my idea.
Sure, yeah.
That wouldn't shock me, but I just think it's more unlikely than it was actually some younger people on the staff.
Speaking about new, fresh games, someone put on the list here, Super Mario World.
Yeah, as soon as I beat Wonder, I was in the Mario mood, and I went and played through World. And by play through World, I mean I went through Yoshi Island, which is the first world, and then I did the shortcut through the ghost house in the second world. Went to the special or Star Road. I did the Star Road levels all the way around. Went up to the top. Went straight to the last level and beat the game, which I have never actually done before. This is a game I was always, I'm just going to play all these levels or play most of them. When I first played, I'll play most of them. I wasn't getting the 96 or 97, whatever the number is, of clears. But it was like, oh yeah, I could just go ahead and beat this game in like probably an hour, and it wasn't even that long really. But that's a great game still. Boy, it feels really good. I'll say that I think the Switch emulation there's like a little bit of latency, I think, which made me really want to get it up and running on the CRT over here. So that's a project I'm working on right now because I want to play some Mario games on a CRT. I think that would make me very happy.
Okay. Going from a bunch of people jumping to a bunch of... I have nothing for this. The blue people are here. Mike Minotti, you played Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, and I'm very jealous.
Yeah, I can help you right here because there's actually quite a bit of jumping in this. Because do
the Na'vi get high?
They get very high. So yes, I actually did a remote hands-on preview. Played a couple hours of Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. The demo kind of jumped me around a little bit, but I had a good feel for a good amount of the game, including doing some story missions, doing some open world stuff. I think a lot of people looked at this and thought it looked like Far Cry with an Avatar skin, and that is definitely true in a lot of ways, but I think that Avatar skin makes the Far Cry formula a lot better in a lot of ways. First and foremost, just looking gorgeous. I love the way Pandora looks. I love all the floating mountains, all of the glowing vegetation. So the best part of the demo was the mission to get my Ikron, the flying dragon thing. So you have to ascend one of those.
Of course, we all know what an Ikron is. It's
come on,
I do.
Relevant.
Yeah, I know it's a flying space horse.
That's right. You went to Animal Kingdom, but so you have to kind of ascend this mountain on foot. And there you kind of have jumping puzzles. The first-person platforming, I think, is going to be divisive because it usually is. Mm-hmm. I like that stuff because I am so Metroid Prime
taste and culture.
Jumping flash pilled. Yeah, I like it. And it's a good jump. You can hold down that jump button. You get some real height. You're ascending this mountain. You're solving some little puzzles here and there. But just the views as you're going up this mountain of Pandora is awesome. But then eventually you do get the Ikron. And then it becomes just your mount. And it's kind of Skyward Sword-esque where, you can push a button to summon it, but you can also push the button when you're falling, and then it is just going to grab you, and then you can start just flying around freely with it, right? So I know there's been flying in Far Cry before. You can get one of those gyrocopters, but here it really is just push this button, and you can fly wherever you want. You can shoot things while you're flying. You can jump off of the Ikron onto some battleship and take that out, and jump off it, jump back on the Ikron, that kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, this all works for me. This all feels pretty good. When you're doing the base stuff, and that's here too, that Far Cry formula, go to the enemy base and take that out, and it's you actually are shooting people with a machine gun. That's when it feels very the most Far Cry, and also maybe the least interesting. It's fine, but that stuff is, that stuff that you have done before in these games a million times, whatever. The super Avatar flavored stuff though is working for me a lot.
Mike, I have to ask.
What a surprise! That's crazy.
Mike, are the whales in it?
I've not seen a whale yet, but I did get because again the Far Cry thing, you get a skill tree, and one of them was because you have to feed your Ikron. There's the whole hunting and crafting stuff like in Far Cry.
Sure.
You do have to eat to keep your stamina up. You also have to feed your Ikron. But I got this skill where if I just sort of skim water then my Ecron will automatically like fish for itself as it's down there.
Oh my god, that's so fucking awesome! I love that.
That's great.
Why did that pop me so hard? Oh my god, I love it.
It's cool. I like that a lot.
I hate that Avatar. I became Avatar pilled this year.
Way of Water is
amazing.
So good. It's such a good,
literally perfect. There's nothing wrong with
no
that
notes.
Zero notes.
Yeah. So, I don't want to get, like, I did enjoy them. I don't want to get people's expectations too high or anything, but I enjoyed it. What did I miss? What are we laughing about? What is
Backlar is just like having his, like, but this has no appeal to me whatsoever. What's happening?
Is it not important, Backlar?
Oh,
is it not important?
No, I don't understand why these guys are so high on Avatar.
That's it. Jan nailed it. I just simply cannot understand how you three are so fucking weird.
You went to Animal Kingdom. How don't you get it yet?
Of course I went to
get it yet.
Was I not going to go to Animal Kingdom? Of course I'm going to Animal Kingdom. No, I just don't understand. I don't understand how you three grown-ass adults are just like so into Avatar. We're like, it's obviously very big and very important-ish adjacent, but like nobody I know talks about it. Nobody I know talks about it. You're the only three people.
No one's saying it's important.
No, it's like the way you talk about Avatar is the way I talk about like The Fifth Element, and I just don't get it. I don't
think
get
they
it.
occupy a similar space. They do.
Fifth Element wishes, to be honest.
I'll take that movie over anything coming out of Pandora 7 days a week.
Wait till the
Sunday.
third one, dude, when they got to meet a different tribe.
The fire people.
I mean,
it's like, how is it so hard to believe that James Cameron movie is really good? Like,
it's not hard to believe.
Movies.
In every way, let me be honest, I completely believe that this movie is good. That doesn't change the fact that I don't understand.
Wait, have you seen Way of Water?
No, I haven't seen it.
All right.
I watched that movie in the back of a cab with a box of scraps.
Grub goes, it's literally perfect, is what he said.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
He's not wrong.
It's really
no
good.
Joke, watched that movie 5 times, and I started it again the other night. It's perfect.
It's fine. It's like there's just something inherently hilarious about this to me that you are all such Avatar freaks.
See, here's the thing. I avidly hated the first one. I thought it was so boring, and then I was really hesitant to go watch the second one, Way of Water, with my partner. She loves Avatar. I sat in there, and then I instantly bought in. I consider myself like a movie buff-ish, right? I missed Oppenheimer completely when it was in IMAX, but I've seen Way of Water in theaters at least 3 times.
That's so much time
to get the variable frame rate, man.
Yeah,
I get it.
Go in the water.
And this is, just to be clear, because there's been a little bit of controversy about me yucking yums lately, okay? This is not what this is. This is not what this is, okay? Because I'm totally happy with you.
This is not, I get this. You're like, not yucking yums. You're just lost.
It's like I went to a museum, stood at a wall, and someone's like, that's a painting. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Like... And I just can't really get on board in a way that you guys.
Do you think you could watch Way of Water with an open heart back up?
Yeah, I could easily.
Eyes unclouded by hate.
with eyes unclouded by hate.
I will look again. That fucking Flight of Passage ride is phenomenal.
Yes.
The River Na'vi, terrible. But like that's the thing. I can easily watch this thing. I know it's like a 4-hour movie, so I really got to carve out some time for that. Maybe it's a 2-nighter. But
maybe we should do a film in 40s, The Way of Water.
I just think to me it is just hilarious that this thing exists that is so sort of special to you, and I just look at it like I just don't understand how it's. But that's okay, and that's okay, and that's okay.
That movie makes me want to have a son so that I can be disappointed in him and then have him like teach me how to hold my breath or something. Because like I think about that scene all the time where they're like, we're right. I don't know why, just the way it's filmed.
I want Mike MiNa'vi as a Na'vi so bad.
Sure. I mean, I can see you. I can see you in the blue makeup.
I can
very
see
easily.
you. Backwards, you do like it. You do like it.
Oh
I see you.
shit. Oh,
Mike MiNa'vi!
Oh no! Oh god!
All right. We gotta move this on before.
Relax.
Okay. All right.
Sometimes, hey, chat. Sometimes you gotta keep that shit to yourself. Okay. Sometimes you gotta keep that shit to yourself.
Oh my god! How did I never notice that? It's right there.
How have you never noticed that? I don't understand.
So yeah, I think this game is actually looking pretty promising.
This comes out this year, Mike.
December 7th, right on the Game Awards.
Oh,
It's
just
the
in
one
time.
Ubisoft game that's not getting delayed, like basically right now.
This is gonna be the holiday break game for me.
Yep, totally.
Oh yeah.
This and RoboCop Rogue City, because there's just no time. Another game that some of us have been playing, keeping in time with spooky seasons. Real quick on UPF, we played Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, the Ecto edition.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. This was another one of those asynchronous games where it's like a party of 4 have the ability to go against like another player that plays as a ghost. The ghost is mucking stuff up. The player ghost has like essentially 3 lives, and the Ghostbusters have to just like shoot their beams at him, trap him in the trapper, and then get on with their day. But the ghosts, Grub, you had the chance to play as the ghost one time. What is that like? Because none of us got to check that out.
So I didn't do the tutorial for the Go. I didn't really do the tutorial at all. So I was like going in there. I read up on what to do in this game, and it seemed basic enough as a Ghostbuster so that I felt pretty comfortable going in there and knowing what to do. And that turned out to be the case. We kind of figured it out pretty quickly. The Ghost, what I got from playing it, and I did end up winning, but I was like mostly just trying to survive you guys, encounters with you guys for the most part, while moving around and jumping into a bunch of objects, which I think was increasing the haunted level of a room in the game. And eventually I got to the point where like this room is completely haunted, and my haunting level of the building jumped up dramatically. And that seems to be my goal. And then whenever I would get an encounter into an encounter with you all, I would have all my abilities of like, okay, here's like dropping some minions or whatever for you guys to fight, or I can do this big ultimate that turns me into a tornado, which gives me a chance. It slows you all down and gives me a chance to get out of the room and go hide. That hiding aspect seems to be the biggest thing, though. Most of the time, you just want to avoid the Ghostbusters, see if you can hide. At least that's how I played and ended up winning. I think there's probably some incentive to go and encounter and like to confront you all, because I think that probably also helps if I were to slime one of you or something like that. But I was still figuring that out. I will say that you guys got pretty good at destroying my portals, which are the lives you mentioned, and that was like, I had a chance to like go in there and maybe try to throw you guys off or slow you down, but that was like a really risky thing of you all are there. So if I go there and encounter you and then I run out of my abilities and I don't have an ability to have the option to escape, you guys are going to zap me, trap me, and I'll lose a life as well. And then you'll be able to destroy the portal. So basically I'll be losing 2 lives. So I made the decision after you guys were like really going in all in on destroying that portal. I'm just going to dip. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to do some haunting and see if I can accomplish something. And I think doing that really helped. Overall, it was fun. I had a good time.
It was very charming.
Very charming. I love all the Ghostbusters accoutrement throughout like the experience of like, there is Ray and there is Winston and they're hanging out. And the ghost house has all these like fun references and stuff. But it's more like, this is a cool party game. If you guys are going to have a game night with your friends and the Discord's like, hey, what should we play now? If this is in the rotation, I think that's the perfect place for it. Yeah. Keep it in the rotation. I don't know if it's a game I'm going to go back to every weekend, but every couple of weekends when we're looking for something to play, I would totally keep it right there.
The leveling system is interesting because you level up your equipment the more you use it. So if you wind up using your trapper a lot and successfully trapping the ghosts, your trapper is going to level up more so than someone else's, because y'all were trapping the most, Dan, Bailey, you, and I would barely throw mine out, so mine was still level 1 by the time we ended our little session. Maybe this should be a game of the year category, where it's like best game to play with my friends online that I will never touch otherwise.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, totally.
Because
I think, and we can throw even like some older games in there that are like popping back off again. Because I would put like Halo Infinite in that list and stuff like that right now. But yeah, That's definitely a good category because I think that's a reasonable thing for a game to be. A game doesn't have to be everything to everyone. It doesn't have to be the one game you play, although a lot of these asymmetrical multiplayer games turn into that for certain audiences. Obviously, Dead by Daylight is that game for a huge audience. But there's a lot of these now, and I think if some of them are like, no, yeah, hey, if every once in a while you want to get the friends together to play something like this, and you're good at that, not like great, not the best thing in the world, but you're good and serviceable, which is, I think this game is like just a step above that. That's great. That's fantastic. You don't have to be more than that.
Speaking about Game of the Year, we have one game listed here that may be near the top of some folks' lists. Mike MiNa'vi, you've beat Baldurs Gate 3.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah, isn't it stupid that I feel like accomplished? Like, I did something important here. I beat Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, all this stuff
3.
we do is meaningless, but we can't acknowledge it, Mike. So just keep going. Just keep going.
That's great. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've been kind of whittling away at this, putting a lot of time in it, especially the last month, really, after like a lot of like the giant wave of releases that was happening basically nonstop throughout this year. But I always wanted to make sure I went back and played more Baldur's Gate 3 and made an effort of beating it because I do think it's going to be important for Game of the Year discussion. And yeah, it is going to be important for that because it's great. It is fantastic. I think that it keeps a really nice pace. I know I used to read that some people thought like Act 3 dropped off. I don't know if I just differ in opinion from them or if it's been patched a bit better since I got there.
Like, isn't it possible for you to have a very different experience in Act 3 than other people?
Maybe, but like...
You're such a pro gamer, Mike.
You can kind of do almost everything. Like, and I have a feeling I did most of the big quest chains in Act 3. I know there was one involving Raphael that I didn't do, which is apparently a lot of people's favorite, actually. But just in general, though, what I like about the game is how dense it is. It has that 3-act structure, and each act is basically another area that you're exploring. But each of them are, again, just so dense. Like, almost every place you go, there's going to be something like a quest chain, an interesting encounter, somebody to talk to, some secret to find. And like that's what kind of does remind me of something like a KOTOR. I never played like the older Baldur's Gates, but that's what it really is bringing me back to, that kind of thing where, yeah, like maybe this version of Tatooine in KOTOR isn't some giant, sprawling, open world thing, but every location here matters, and there's something I'm going to find interesting everywhere I go. And then I think just the cast of characters is really, really likable, really interesting here. I think you're seeing that, right? Like these characters are popping up, I imagine, on a lot of people's social media stuff.
Oh, yeah, they're
the hell out of them
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I saw somebody say like it's probably like the most iconic cast we've gotten like a game of any sort like this since maybe Fire Emblem 3 Houses, right?
Yeah, Mass Effect adjacent.
Popping up. Yeah, what exactly? I think that this game is doing so much for those BioWare freaks who a large part of what they like is just that kind of, this is my found family of
mommies and
magic
dummies
/ sci-fi freaks, right? Mm-hmm. Exactly. And maybe we're gonna get intimate. Who knows?
You're definitely gonna get intimate.
You are definitely going to.
Did you change any of them, Mike?
Oh yeah, Shadowheart totally saw the light. And then I saw more of her.
You saw the light. You saw her dark areas. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. No, yeah, I mean, Shadowheart, we're good now. We're in love, I think. Something like that.
I mean, you're still having sex with all the other people in the party, but you're in love with Shadowheart.
Well, I did have sex with Karlach, and then Shadowheart didn't really like that, so I had to reload a save.
Excuse me, it's okay. Mike Monogamy, please.
Mike Monogamy, Mike. Oh, my God. My name, man, I have a good name.
I just... You're like into your 30s, and I don't understand how all the names have not yet been discovered. I don't...
Well, we're very creative people.
That's true.
Yeah. There's some really dark names, but those only exist within the Mike Illuminati.
Okay, we don't have to worry about
there we go. Okay, all right,
took
cool.
A deep
Mike,
for that, yeah.
Is this going to be in your top 3 for Game of the Year?
Or top 4?
Or is it going to be your top 4 for Game of the Year?
I bet it's in my top 5. I could definitely probably going to be in my top 5. And you know what? I think the ending was very good. I think that could be hard to do in these games, especially since in RPGs there's often that kind of reverse difficulty curve where by the end you just have so many abilities and so many tools that's kind of hard to make things challenging. And like you almost do feel that a little bit in some normal Act 3 encounters, but then the very end stuff, they do some interesting things to ramp up the difficulty to make it an interesting challenge and to still make it a spectacle. So I was really happy with the last few encounters. They did, in fact, feel epic, which is what you want for the finale of a game that you've been playing for 70, 80 hours, and you have all this investment into.
Is that your game clock, 70, 80?
Yeah, mine was 70. I know that's probably, I feel like that's a little lower than some people. I did a lot of them. Yeah, well, I'm very good. Yeah. Or no, maybe that is normal. I don't know. I guess I haven't looked. But I did most side missions, or at least some of the big ones. I know there were some things I missed. There's something with the Githeki or whatever they're called that I didn't really do much of. And again, I somehow didn't really do the whole Raphael chain. But otherwise, I did a lot. I did all the stuff I really wanted to do. I definitely feel like I had a full experience. So, yeah.
Mike, do you think I would still enjoy my time and walk away feeling good if I just critical path through Baldur's Gate 3?
Yeah. I think you'd be fine. I mean, or, like I was mostly just concerned with doing the side stuff that involved my party members. That's why I didn't do a lot of the Githyanki stuff, because it involved that Lae'zel or whatever character who I wasn't entirely feeling.
She didn't make you horny, right? Okay.
Yeah. It's hard to say though, Jake, because some of that, like, not critical pathing, like some of those big side quest chains do tie into the main missions, and also I think make them easier. Right, it's almost a bit of like a Breath of the Wild thing. Like, yeah, you can go straight to the castle, but it's going to be harder because you have to fight those bosses there. Not literally that, but a little bit like that. But I wouldn't worry about that, Jen. I just say, just play it. If you want to explore around more, do that. If you don't quite beat it or whatever, that's fine too.
I think it's the kind of game where if you spend 25 to 35 hours in it doing anything, whether it's critical pathing or doing a side quest, you're going to have a pretty good idea why people like it and what they do like about it.
I feel like I just got to just lock myself in and just choose to stream it for some period of time, so I'm just forced to play it.
I'm feeling exactly the same way.
Yeah, streaming it definitely helped me, at least in the beginning, especially since I'm not super familiar with some of this Dungeons and Dragons stuff. I didn't really understand how spells worked and like what a long rest does versus a short rest and things like that. So streaming it and just having people tell me what this is, what I should be doing. And the game is, I talked about that reverse difficulty curve. There is definitely a bit of that here.
Oh, yeah.
Early on, especially depending on your party members. Like,
that's just D&D. That's why it's a very good thing they locked you at level 12, because basically after that, my understanding is you become a god. The D&D goes up to level 20, and it's like you can manipulate time and stuff like that. So, yes.
Yeah, and I had Gale in my party, and I think most Magic users at first are just very, very weak. And by the end of the game, Gale's amazing, and he could teleport around the battlefield and do these giant area of effects spells. But in the beginning, it's like, here's my fireball cantrip, and it's going to miss, and then I'm going to get hit once and die. So, yeah. It's a good stuff. I don't know if you all think you're going to spend too much more time with it.
I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
There's that. It's funny because that is part of why I went to it. I did sort of feel pressure, and I'm glad I did because I really enjoyed it. But I was kind of feeling guilty a bit not playing more of it.
No, I know that you've been really high on it the last couple of weeks. Tam, Lucy have also been really high on it. So is Bailey. And I feel like I've tried to restart it multiple times now, all with the same character, Black Lesnar. But I just keep bouncing off of it. I don't know. Maybe it's just because whenever I revisit it, other games are also popping out. Speaking about games, I don't know who put this on the list here. Steam Deck case?
I got a new case for the Steam Deck. It's from Satisfy. It's called the Stealth Grip.
Stealth?
Stylth. Stealth.
I'm sure they want you to pronounce that stealth.
I'm sure they do, and yet I'm going to say stealth. Okay, so this is the case part of it, and it snaps on. And for video listeners, I'm going to try to describe it.
It looks like a Batarang.
You know what it looks like? It looks like when the Batmobile has the armor on in was it Batman Returns or something like that? He presses the button, and so it goes on the front. Cool. It has the little the wells for the thumbsticks to keep them safe. And really what it is, it looks really bulky, but compare this to the actual Steam Deck case, and this is actually really slimmed down. It makes it easier to throw into a bag and not worry about the analog sticks.
Yeah, it is. Man, it's a goofy looking thing though, is it not?
Yep.
It's
very
real.
Goofy. It is. I do not find this to be aesthetically pleasing. Well, You know what? It's goofy in a fun way, I'll say.
Sure.
Just like us.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then this snaps onto the front, and then you kind of have like a little grip thing that happens. And I don't necessarily love this because the Steam Deck is already so bulky, but I'll say this doesn't really get in the way too much. It adds a little bit of extra rubberized grip stuff here on the back, and that's pleasant. It doesn't make it worse to use, for sure.
Okay.
I just don't know if I already found the Steam Deck pretty comfortable to hold. My problem was never the way to like hold it. It was just like the weight. It was a little bit heavy for me.
Sure.
But having this and then having the snap-on front case, I think I actually will keep using this because I'm getting to a point where I'm like, oh man, this Steam. It would be a real bummer if my Steam Deck thumbsticks stopped working. I would probably get it fixed, but mostly I'd probably just set it aside to say I'm going to get it fixed and never use it again. And I like traveling with it, and I like throwing it in my bag, and I'm pretty irresponsible. So I'll just like, okay, we're packing up. I got to get the kids ready. I'm just going to throw this in my bag and hope for the best. And having this as a way to like make sure, whoa, no, I don't have to hope for the best. This is going to protect it. This is straight up going to keep it safe.
Yeah,
that
dope.
is really nice to have. So I'm a pretty big fan of the way that this works.
Have you considered just starting to wear cargo shorts, Grub, and you
Yes,
just throw
absolutely.
that thing in there on the side?
I really do want to bring cargo. I still do wear cargo shorts. I'm going to bring.
I believe that in a second.
Yeah, of course.
That's great. That's great.
And if I had a bigger fanny pack, maybe it would go in there. But
Ooh, let's not make any promises here.
What's the biggest fanny pack I can get? Like a 3X fanny pack. That's.
I believe that's just a messenger bag.
Yeah, it does not fit in my messenger bag either. So
I agree though. Like that big honkin' valve case that came with the thing is just like. Yeah, complete. It's luggage. It's luggage.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Except
it's
if you put it in a
carry-on.
bag, it's going to take up most of that bag, and that's. But you also kind of need it if you want to keep this thing like secure and safe in terms of scratches and the thumbsticks.
Yeah.
So having this as an alternative, I'm a big fan of that. And
that's
right on.
And I think we're gonna be with the Steam Deck for a while. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna keep using this.
All right, that brings us, folks, to the game of the week. That game being Alan Wake 2. Game of the week. Hold on. Game of the week. Alan Wake 2. Yo.
Okay.
Backlar. No, you seem very excited. Please.
Yeah, Backlar Jan, you guys, I think Mike hasn't played it all. I've played a little bit. I'll talk about how I'm feeling about it because I want your guys' help. But you guys seem, I'm going to say, enamored.
Well, Backlar, you're a spooky boy.
Sure. I don't own spookiness, but I am a spooky boy.
You literally have a jack-o'-lantern t-shirt, so yeah.
It's fucking Halloween, Mikey.
So spooky. I'm scared of Backlar.
Come on. I've never yucked your yum. Listen. No one will ever disagree with that statement. Listen. This game is I really cannot understand how much I'm enjoying this game. I just want you all to know I am freaking out over every minute of this game. It is doing something for me that I didn't know I could have done to me. I didn't know I would be able to experience. I obviously was very excited about this game leading into the release because, the entire Remedy pedigree has treated me very well, save for maybe... couple quantum breaks here and there, but real great pedigree, real great track record. I got all caught up in the Control lore bullshit and the DLC, and then I loved the original Alan Wake, and I really love the fact that I just didn't quite know what to expect going into this, right? Like, for my money, I'm like, all right, I'm assuming we're going to have some like flashlight combat. We're going to have some like, just spooky pages. And we're going to take this to the next level and see what really happens with 13 years in between two titles, right? And what they've done to me is just such a wildly enjoyable and successful mixture of all these different ways of narrative storytelling. And I think for me, this game has done what a lot of other heavily narrative and expositionally driven software and interactive mediums have tried to do, right? And incorporate a gripping and an engaging story without fucking just like making you sit there and just let it play out, right?
Yeah.
a la cutscenes or whatever it is.
Right, yeah. So can we talk about the specifics of how that works? Because I
Sure,
I'm like getting on board with that, and I think I understand what you're saying. But I want to hear what you mean.
So I think this game takes borrows a lot from like True Detective season 1, and certainly like American Horror Story in a lot of ways,
and Twin Peaks,
and of course Twin Peaks, with the original
and
just
Frozen
being the setting.
too.
Of course,
that I can't speak to. We'll have to get some Disney expert to weigh in on that.
You going into the unknown here?
A little bit.
I just think like they've really. It's very multi-dimensional in how they tell this story with video overlays like they did in Control, with just really inventive like ghosting effects. I just think there's so many creative ways that this game is able to like manipulate itself, right? The illusion of it manipulating itself, right? I am positive, like I'm buckled into the roller coaster, right?
Yes,
like
I think it's still a roller coaster, but you're right. It makes you feel like you're engaged, and you're the one pushing the stuff forward,
right?
Even though you might not be. That doesn't matter if you feel that way.
Exactly. And like, again, if you were able to like blur that line for me, wonderful. You've done the same, like an open world game strives to be that kind of thing as well, right? And it just sort of has to hope that you kind of trigger all those checkpoints at the same time. I think this is definitely much more, forced and much more spoon-fed, but there is something about this game's overall presentation and how it seems to be this like sort of metamorphosizing organism, right? Where you're just sort of like, I'm a detective, and I'm doing the red string and the cork board, and I'm doing that, and then I'm doing third person horror action, and then I'm doing all these other things, and I'm just really blown away as how all that stuff comes together so well and so effectively. I think in a year where like a Resident Evil 4 remake comes out, which is regarded as like the king of survival horror.
Yeah.
But very much look, Mike, I'm with you there. That's one of my favorite games of all time. Yeah. But I think you play this game so many months later and you're just like, holy fuck, this is a 2023 survival horror.
It's a successor.
It is a contemporary in the best possible way, and such a satisfying evolution where you're just like, oh man, RE4, it's fucking older than everything, right? It's 20 years old, right? Is it not? It's up there.
But the remake isn't.
Okay, buddy, but do you understand what I'm saying? Underneath the hood, it's the same goddamn game. It has contemporary. Look, it has contemporary upgrades.
They made a new game. They made a whole new game.
Okay, Mike, are you unable to hear what I'm saying?
Yes, I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
Okay, what you mean. Yeah, again, I'm never gonna poo-poo Resident Evil 4, but I just think to have a game born of this era, born of this contemporary, is a truly wild thing to see, because it's like, fuck yeah, survival horror can be this now. This is the best effort we have now in that genre, because don't forget, like, a lot of the storytelling devices and the story itself and all the things that are like stuck in that beautiful thing that was RE4, now in Alan Wake 2, it's like, this is 2023. It is so fresh. It is so new. It has narrative nuances and storytelling devices that are so fresh and feel so new that, to me, it is a very satisfying evolution of the genre for me, for my money. Yeah. And
I'm really excited to play it. I'm just, I'm going on a vacation on Thursday, and I'm kind of like, I don't want to start this game.
Yeah,
and come back after 10 days and try to get into it. Yeah.
You'll be able to do it. You'll be fine. I'm telling you, do not start this game before your trip.
Yeah.
Do not.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think as much as horny as Remedy is to be episodic and TV seasonal and do all these things, this game, they're doing it the best. They are able to hit these episodic cliffhangers in a really, really awesome way. Amazing original music, just the whole package. Stace is watching this game. I'm like, do me a favor. It's the spooky time. You did Halloween to me. Please let me do this to you, and just experience. And she is so gripped and engaged to what this whole thing is. God, this game has skyrocketed on my list. I'm just head over heels for it.
Yeah, Jan, how are you finding it?
Greg, we talked about this briefly and how I felt last week on Game S Mornings, but I think I can definitively say, as of right now, this is my game of the year.
Oh my god!
I mean, it's
like, you know, I don't want to heap too much praise onto it to build anyone's expectations and they wind up being disappointed. But similar to Bacalar, this is firing off on all cylinders, and it feels specifically targeted to me. And it feels like Sam Blake was like, Jan, this is for you, bud. This is for you. I know you only played an hour of Alan Wake 1, and you like Control, and you're curious about checking out Quantum Break, but this is for you. Everything that Bacalar said times 3. There's a lot of clever storytelling stuff and just how empowered you feel as the player, specifically as Saga Anderson. And shouts out to fucking Saga Anderson.
Yeah, what a character.
What a character. Great name. I think one of the best characters to come out in recent years. I'm not saying the best, but like one of the best. The way that they intertwine live action elements, gameplay elements, absolutely stunning and fantastic. We haven't really talked about how great the game looks.
Oh my god.
I'm playing on a PS5 on performance mode. Absolutely stunning. And hey, you know, a big mechanic of this game is the flashlight, but the way that they play with lights or the absence of lights, absolutely fantastic. There's an obscene amount of coffee in this game. So, you know, I'm already in the big pocket of coffee.
I got to get you an Alan Wake thermos or something, man.
I have one right over there.
Oh, cool. Send it to Jen.
No, it's mine.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Mike. Ooh, look at the jammies.
Look at those.
I got my jammies on. There we go.
That's cool.
Yeah, I kind of want to grab one of those. I don't normally buy a lot of gaming memorabilia. Look at that jump scare, Grub.
Nice.
What?
Nice job.
But it's just something about it is just firing off on all cylinders. And then, like, you know, the undertones of the story of Alan trying to grip with the overwhelming pressure of, like, what happened in the last 13 years? Oh shit, I got it right. And like the pressure of being a creative. And it's not like, yes, it's a 13-year gap from Alan Wake 1 to 2, but this brings in elements from Control very heavily.
Right out of the gate, too.
Right out of the gate. And I can't speak to what it incorporates from Quantum Break, but I'm sure that it heavily considers those bits. I can see where people will get frustrated with some of the puzzle stuff because it feels like you are given a pretty long leash to explore, but not given enough information as to where to go and what to do and how to play within those rules. I do occasionally get a little bit lost in some of the maps, and I'll give it that. Some of the specific little puzzles I've gotten frustrated at, and maybe that's just because we play games so weird sometimes where we have to like go find the critical path, but also try and explore and speed through the game as fast as possible. But this is one of those games where just sitting there watching it and just experiencing it, I'm like, I'm trying to breathe as much of it in because I just want it to fill my lungs because I just love it so much. And if you were a big fan of Control and didn't really like Alan Wake 1 that much, there is plenty for you Control freaks out there. And there's a lot of cheap pops built into it, and it really puts over everything that has come before it in Remedy's wheelhouse. And this is Remedy firing off on all cylinders, and like the budge and the money behind it definitely shows.
Yeah, so I'm definitely in the position where I'm afraid of bouncing off of it, and you nailed exactly what the issue was for me is the navigating the map, where I'm feeling a little bit lost, which I have a pretty short attention span for that sort of thing, and I think that a lot of that is on me, and I want to like this game, so I'm trying to get in there and get the hang of things, and I think I'm starting to do that. It's just there is an order of operations that you need to pay attention to in the game, and you need to play things that way. So I was supposed to be finding this object, and so I'm like looking for it, but it's like, well, no, you're not. Don't look for it. Don't be an idiot. you got to go to your mine place and put some pictures down first, and then we're basically going to tell you where to find it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I had been to the place where this object ended up being, and I was right next to it, and I could have found it if the game would have let me, but the game's not going to let me until I do it in its certain order of operations. And I think it is very much like the haunted house, the roller coaster of you're going to walk across these thresholds and music's going to start playing. And then if you like want to go back and, I forgot something, let me go get that. You're going to come back, you're going to cross the same threshold. The music's going to be playing the exact same way in the exact same spot. And I think for the most part, that is not a problem. It's just like, no, this is the game they built. You just need to like play along the way the game needs you to play along.
Yeah.
And it's taken me a second to get the hang of that.
Yeah.
I think I am getting the hang of it. I am returning to the mine place now every chance. I see the little emblem now. Oh, I have something to do in my mine place.
Right.
Let me go do that before I do anything else because you need to. And like, and this like speaks to what you were saying, Bacalar, the variety of ways that they enable, that they tell the story. It's in all this gameplay. It's in all the traditional Remedy stuff of, yeah, there's going to be cutscenes. There's going to be dialogue between the characters. There's going to be little snippets of commercials of live action stuff on the TV. Then those characters are going to show up and they're going to have little moments that they're going to talk about even more stuff. You're going to overhear conversations. You're going to have a weird little jump scares. You're going to find the pages. It's all feeding into the narrative in such a strong way that is really pulling me in. They are presenting interesting questions. They are now giving me the tools to understand how to get the answers to those questions. And as I'm like feeling my way through that, I'm getting more and more into it. So I no longer think I'm going to bounce off, but there was a chance there where I'm like, man, just
I could
this
see
world
that.
is pushing me away.
Backler, go ahead.
I was going to say that I think I was very surprised with how well I thought the game taught me to use the mind space.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called? The mind place or the mind space?
Mind place. Yes.
Mind place.
I keep calling it palace.
Well, yeah, it's based on the mind palace. She even says that.
Yeah.
And that is just basically an area inside Saga's mind where she's putting together all of the, red
clues,
string
case
clues,
files.
and it's also a way that the game kind of like cleverly that word tracks your progress with like collectible stuff and other things. And I just think it's a really inventive kind of way to do it. That's what I think.
It's what keeps you engaged, right? Because you're on their path. It is defined path. But,
exactly.
And this is not like Outer Wilds where you have a board up there and you're going to be figuring stuff out. And now you're going to go out and like, oh, this makes me think I should try that. I should do that. No, that's not how this game works.
Sure.
It is very prescriptive, but because you are going through the act of putting up the board and answering questions and like just putting a picture on that thing and then getting an answer, and then that gives you a new question, you feel more attached to what's happening. And I think that's really smart.
And it reinforces the story too. Like, I think that gets lost so often where you're just like, the fuck was that guy's name? Why am I caring about this stuff?
So many games tell you something once and they're like, well, we told you. You're fucking on your own. And I'm like, homie, I have ADHD. You got to tell me 3 times, and you got to tell me each time in a different way. You got to write it down. You got to show me a video. And you got to have the character say it. And like this game actually does that.
It does.
And it does it in a way that is not like, oh, we think you're stupid, which I am, but like the game's not treating me that way. It is very much doing the thing where it's like, no, we understand that there's a lot going on and there's a lot of proper nouns, and we are going to make sure that we spoon feed you a little bit, but in a way that is always going to be different and interesting every time.
For sure. For sure. It's very, I'm as engaged in trying to anticipate how this game is going to let me play it as I am like the story moments and the beats and all that. The sort of, villainous cult, right, that you're sort of tracking down. Like, I think that's great. All that stuff's real fun, but also it's like, man, I really don't know how this game's going to treat me next. And I think that to me is equally as thrilling. The first sort of main boss that you fight in this game, it's fucking horrifying. Like, it is straight up horrifying. Like, I'm sorry, not a lot of games really spook me anymore. This is a scary fucking game. And I'm loving, and I'm just loving, and there's like, I don't know, I feel like this last night I was like, is this game doing something that I'm not sure it's doing? Like, is it cheating for me? I think it does do that. I think it does like get easier for you, which is not the first game to do that. But I also think like there's some sleight of hand stuff going on where like environments change in a way that you're sort of not expecting, and and sometimes lead you back to where you need to be without actually cutting off, without stacking the furniture in the hospital. You know what I mean? Like, there is some of that, but I think this game's doing just a lot of inventive things to keep you on the roller coaster and to keep you engaged. And like I said, I mean, if it's not clear, I'm completely smitten.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it also deals with exploration and finding all the side stuff really well and incorporating that into the greater story, but also making sure that it actually matters that you did kind of veer off the critical path and like, okay, cool, this will prove to be useful down the line, not only from a player perspective, but also from a story aspect. I agree that it is scary. It is a spooky game for sure. But if that is off-putting you and stopping you from trying to pick up Alan Wake 2, I think it being, other than like the jump scares where it's like the static, you like, rah, 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 type of stuff, it kind of really projects to the player of like, hey, this is when you're going to be into combat. Otherwise, you're chilling. You're cool to explore around. You will come across some spooky bits here and there, and like the little jump scare-esque things, or the audio design will change. But if you're a little scaredy cat, I implore.
That was a jump scare, Mike. Haven't you been paying attention?
It works. It works.
I implore you to try and be a little brave buddy of mine and check it out, because there is so much under the hood here that is absolutely insane. Also, if you're not familiar with Alan Wake 1 or Control, I think the way that they frame the story with Saga Anderson being new to this whole world completely works as a great vehicle for someone new to the series like myself, where you're finding stuff out just like at the same time she is, and you're all piecing this together, and as she is exploring her mind place, you are exploring your mind place within this world of Remedy.
It feels like the story isn't starting at the beginning of a sequel. It feels like it is starting on media res, which is a good thing to pull off. If you could do that, you should do that, where it's like, oh no, this is just the backstory for this game. It's not, oh, what happened in the last game and it's so important. And it is important, but it's important in the way that any sort of like, well, hey, we started here and events happened and they affected these characters, but as they reveal these things, they talk about it and they explained how it made them feel. And so you get it filled in that way, and that makes it just feel like, okay, no, we're telling a cohesive story right now. I'll say, like, you talked a little bit about more about the exploration. I'm not like a huge fan of games where it is we're just going to be kind of walking around and we're going to be looking for stuff in the corner and hopefully there's something there. I'll say that this game, like you said, like you mentioned this, usually there is something there, and it's not so expansive that you're going to feel really super lost. You're going to get a little bit turned around. You're going to have to load up the map, and it doesn't load up the fastest, but it's usually fine. And you're going to have to reorient yourself and get around. And I'm like, once I started doing that again, I got the hang of it a little bit. And then I'm like, oh, this isn't the worst exploration. There are definitely games that do this worse or push me away more with their exploration. And I have found enough of these like little extras in the world that I feel like, oh, hey, I'm not wasting my time. And that's a big part of it. I've never felt like I was wasting my time, just getting a little bit turned around. That's all.
I don't know what it is. If anyone can recommend any more literature or other pieces of media that are in this whole world or this style of storytelling, please recommend it to me. I
do want to replay Control now.
Yeah. Man. I never played the DLC for Control.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that does explain a good amount, especially at the beginning. I think the map, I agree, the map is not great. It's not Control levels of bad, but it is certainly not great. I think, I guess like getting to the map is also kind of a pain in the ass too.
Sure. I hold down select to go right to the map.
Oh, that'll do it. So
yes, you hold it, but it does take a little bit longer to load than to go to the mine place. Mine place loads instantly, which is wild.
Especially that first area you're in, it's dark, it's rainy, you are really struggling to find like that one singular path. Like I get it. I think that does add to it. I think that, obviously that's a deliberate choice, to get turned around a bunch like that. But yeah, that to me, that's been the only thing out of the gate that I've sort of been like, oh, that can be tedious and cumbersome. And I think occasionally you do find, not like full glitching out, but you do find a little bit of handcuffing with maybe some movement and stuff like that early on.
You gotta like understand how the characters move a little bit.
Exactly.
Kind of shimmy to the side, and they're not going to like animate like they're walking to the right. It's like, no, they're definitely going to strafe, and I'm fine with that. But it's like, okay, you gotta figure that a little bit. I did play this on the Roger Ally a little bit, and it's you have to go into your settings and set the on the Ally and set the RAM usage for the GPU to auto. And because I think it defaults to 4 gigabytes, and this game will not work with that. It would straight up will tell you, no, there's not enough RAM here. So you set it to auto, and then it'll warn you there's still not enough RAM. The game runs pretty okay. It's just when you are exploring, having that lower fidelity, kind of be like, wait, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing, or is this kind of just smudgy graphics? That could be that can add to some of the frustration. And as soon as I was back playing on the 4090, I had no problem anymore. And I'm like, okay, so you can play it on one of these handhelds. I probably wouldn't recommend it. And if you are going to play it on there, maybe stream it from a real PC instead. That might be the real option there.
And yeah, we didn't talk that much about the fidelity. I know you said Janet looks great on PS5. It is. Oh man, there is something going on with this.
It's all of the Nvidia stuff.
It's really just taking advantage of all that. What's that, Mike?
As I said, it's Epic Games money, is what I think.
Yeah,
That's definitely helping as well.
Yeah. You know what? I will deal with that horrific piece of software if So what if I have to Control delete and end Epic Games Store 15 times before Alan Wake 2 will launch appropriately? It's worth it for the amount of Mr. Ray tracing going on in this thing, and if you have a beefy system like we're fortunate to have with those NZXT machines, holy goddamn shit, does this game look absolutely
it's
phenomenal.
Got it has the global illumination and there's a ray reconstruction.
Holy
shit. DLSS 3.5. It is one of the first games to take advantage of much of that stuff, and boy, it works. It's a flashlight game, and I always thought flashlight games with ray tracing and ray reconstruction would be amazing. It turns out, yes.
I tried it on a 3080, and I was like, nah, dog. Like that's, I know that sounds.
It actually scales down to run on a lot of stuff. It scales down and it's going to run just fine. But boy, those extra bells and whistles are not just extra bells and whistles.
Yeah,
they do contribute greatly to the experience.
The default settings took off ray tracing on my 3080.
Yeah.
We
don't get to enjoy that ray tracing. 32,000 life, whatever the hell you guys have.
Does the PS5 have ray tracing on in the quality version?
I didn't scan through the settings.
They said it's by they I mean Digital Foundry.
That's what I'm asking about.
Yeah, I think it probably has some. I don't know if it has global illumination.
Yeah,
it probably has like shadows and stuff.
Yeah, look, this is the wettest, flashlightiest game you'll ever play, and the reflections and all that shit. I like it is on like that first scene with dusk with the sun going through the trees when you're just like, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like I have to sit up close playing this game. Do you guys find that too? Where like I don't know if you guys play games only on your PC monitor. I'm sitting within like 4 feet of this thing. I want to be up in its shit.
I'm going to connect it to this TV over here, which I have pretty close to my gamer chair.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get up in. I'm going to get up in that ass.
You got to get up in this shit, man. There's too much. There's a lot of crevices. There's a lot of crevices. There's a lot of wounds you want to inspect. Like you got to get up in that shit. Don't worry about it, Mike. After your trip.
Penises, even human penises.
Cool.
Okay. The last thing I'll say about it is I've seen some scuttlebutt saying like, "Oh, we should just have an Alan Wake HBO show." I'm like, no. You were missing.
Video game.
You were missing the point completely. And I think I said this about 13 Sentinels during Game of the Year, whatever year that was. But like, this is another proof of concept
team game.
This is another proof of concept where if like there's some fucking great debate about video games being art, this is like example 1A and 1B, because like this is the type of storytelling and type of journey that can only be pulled off in the medium of video games.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
My wife is watching the current American Horror Story, and it's like half hour into Alan Wake 2, and she's like, "This is already better than the newest season of American Horror Story." And I'm like,
I could have told you that.
And like she's like I said, she's a horror weirdo. I think, but to be fair, what you said about Alan Wake 2 and HBO, I do think Sam Lake would probably love
they are
to
going
have
to
that
do a show.
happen.
But
Like,
it'll factor into a game.
Yeah. The game will dictate the show and not the other way around, right? Like that's.
Yeah,
I think they would love that.
I think this is the game where I'm like, I don't know if it's for me like proving that games are art. Like I just got done playing Super Mario Brothers Wonder. I'm like, no, this proves it. What this game proves for me though is they need to stop trying to make games be like movies, and instead, if you have movie-like ideas, make a fucking video game still, because what you end up with is Alan Wake 2, and all of that stuff just ends up making your video game that much more cool if you lean into what makes it a video game. And I think that Remedy seems to be the one studio that really, really understands that at this point. I suppose, Nier Automata is one that people point to a lot as being able to do that with its multiple endings and things like that. But this is like, I think this is carrying forward that legacy, and we're hearing that New Game Plus is going to change up the narrative and stuff. So it's like, yep, they're existing in that same space. So let's go. I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny that for whatever reason on this website and podcast, we've brought up the concept of in media res several times across the board. But
we're just always thinking of the Roman Empire and then Latin and stuff. Yeah,
that is like such a simple concept to drop into storytelling in a video game that works so well, and I don't think a lot of games try and use that type of concept of storytelling or that type of narrative device.
Or if they do, it sucks, like the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 5.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Or a lot of people do the thing where it's like, they start a game on an exciting action sequence, then they're like 10 days earlier, and then it's just completely linear from there until you catch up. Which is
I think this game literally does 10 days earlier, by the way.
Funny.
Literally 10 days. Well, I think it's exactly that number.
Just a shot in the dark there.
Oh, man, I love this so much. I fucking love
it's great.
So much.
It's great. Also, we've got the GameSpot Reviewcast version of this review, if you want to check it out. I know the GameSpot gang gave it a 10.
Yep, they're into it.
Give it a 10. So if you want to listen to that review.
Yes.
Get the podcast.
I've been making notes in my own mind place. Like I would be making my own review, and I can confidently say if I ever put something together and actually wrote more than a paragraph about something or 2 sentences, easy 5 out of 5 for this.
Yeah,
on the Giant Bomb
totally.
scale.
20 out of 20.
Okay,
20 out of 20. Okay.
I don't know what he gave Resident Evil 4. Calm down.
That's a 19 out of 20. This is a 20 out of 20.
All right, folks. That's been a lot of games, and look forward to more games talk later this week on Giant Bomb Revengeance. But we're going to take another quick bricky break. Or no, we're going to take our first quick break, and we'll be back with the news. I think that the world of Alan Wake and Control would be better served if people just wore headlamps. That's it.
And headlamps are cool and sexy. People
like a miner's
sexy
hat
when you're wearing
No,
them.
just like a elastic bandy over your forehead, and I'm like, wow, look at this. And
I've
then,
got like 6 or 7 of those things. I love them so much.
And then you can get
be
like
nice.
the cool ones that have like the red light, so it doesn't mess up your night vision.
I use that occasionally. I used it when I was getting those Hornets that turned into that GB animated. I was wearing a red lamp so they wouldn't come at the light. They still came at me though. That was scary.
They still came. Boy, did they come.
Well, they came. They came to you, Jeff Grubb, because they wanted the news.
This is the
Mike.
Well, that's funny. I was doing the news song and you were singing my name. Okay.
All right. First news story is Beckler. What are you gonna have for Halloween dinner? I'm just curious. I need some help. There
Halloween dinner?
Oh, I think
like,
we're getting
so much candy. Like, what do you do for dinner?
It's a pizza night, like straight
we
up.
think of pizza
just like
too.
we're doing 2 pies of buffalo chicken, 2 grandma pies, one
What's a
mushroom.
grandma pie? What's that?
It's just like rectangular pizza, like thicker crust rectangle, big rectangle.
Oh, that's just Youngstown, Ohio.
Is that
pizza,
Detroit
so-
style?
Okay, yeah,
Detroit
you
style
guys
deep dish.
invented pizza. Cool.
Detroit.
No, I don't.
Style.
I don't. It could be Detroit. Up here where I live, they call it grandma pies.
right.
I'm sure you have a cute little Midwestern name for it. And then probably just like a bunch of salads. We'll do like a Caesar. We'll do like a house salad. We'll do.
How will you make a salad spooky?
You don't. It's just
olives.
You don't. Yeah,
Olives.
No, that's normal. That's normal.
Get a real viscous
on
red
it.
vinaigrette. Yeah, well,
No,
put vegetables on it.
extra-
It's a salad, Jeff.
Well, that's what's scary to me.
Yeah. I mean,
know-
I agree.
Like we got to feed more people than I'd like to be feeding. So it's like you're just gonna get what you get and not gonna be upset. You know what I mean?
That's right. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. All right. Let's get to this news, starting with the bad news. As has been our custom for the last couple of weeks, there's been more layoffs, this time at Bungie. Bungie, the developers of Destiny, have laid off employees. The scope of the layoffs isn't currently fully clear. Based on the people posting on social media yesterday, seems pretty wide sweeping, though. Bungie has also reportedly delayed Destiny 2's next expansion. That's going to come out like later next year. And then Marathon, their new game, isn't going to come out till 2025 now. All of these layoffs, these delays come about a year and a half after Sony acquired Bungie for $3.5 million. People have pointed out that as part of that deal, $1 billion was set aside for employee retention. And while that's not necessarily the kind of thing where it's like, oh, this will avoid layoffs, what it's really there is like, oh, this is to incentivize people to stick around so they don't leave and we get a brain drain. It still doesn't look great that, hey, Sony acquires them. They haven't done much. The Destiny 2 is in a bit of a rut, and now we're laying people off just not even 2 years after that acquisition. But this is also part of a wider trend of layoffs over at Sony. They've had a Media Molecule, the visual art studio, a lot of contractors that were working at Naughty Dog stuff. So this is a trend. But Bungie seemed like one that should have been able to figure it out without having to deal with this. And that's kind of what I heard a little bit internally is like everyone knew that Destiny 2 was kind of in this rut, but they expected because they were at Sony, they'd be mostly protected. So these layoffs came as a big, big surprise. How are you guys feeling about Destiny, Bungie's future, Sony's live service push, all that stuff?
Yeah, this is a mess. Paul Tassi had some additional info just a little bit ago, and Paul has been covering Destiny specifically.
Yes, he's the games as a service reporter on that beat in a big way.
Right. And according to his source, the layoff decision came from Bungie management and not Sony, which is kind of, again, shocking. Apparently there's some scuttlebutt with the benefits, right? Because employee benefits only last till the end of the month if you're let go. So laying people off on the 30th means a single additional day of coverage. And many employees had unvested shares as a result of the Sony purchase. Those shares would be received based on staying with the company for a certain number of years following the sale. But those shares revert to Bungie if you leave, even if you're fired, which is what's happening now to many of those affected. This is, according to Paul, according to a source.
Yes. Let's just say, fuck you.
What the hell? What's
that fucking
man?
sucks.
And these layoffs they're impacting like some of their most kind of forward-facing public faces on social media managers, community managers, composers. Like, what's going on here? Bungie was supposed to have things figured out. Of course, Destiny 2's in a rut. It's however many years old. Like, we have all these live service games suddenly being freaked out that they aren't as popular as they were 8 years ago. And like, I know a couple games can manage to somehow not fall into that trap, but you have to account that that's going to happen. There has to be a better solution to it than just laying a bunch of people off because your next thing isn't happening quite as fast as you thought it would. All those years, Destiny 2 was just making all of this money. Was there no war chest built up on top of this apparent money set aside after the purchase too? How does this happen? What is this? What's going on?
I mean, it feels completely incongruous with the reality on the ground across gaming. A lot of if we look at the total amount of money that the video game industry is making this year, it's up a couple of $1 billion from last year. Now it's down from the height of the pandemic. The year before that, when we were in the middle of the pandemic, it's down from that. And I think most of these companies are like, we expected that to last forever. So what the fuck? How did you ever fucking expect that? What are you talking about? We all knew that wasn't going to last forever. But companies have these short-term operating ideas where it's like, we are doing this quarter, and so we have to use that money and invest it to make stuff even bigger next quarter, no matter what the reality on the ground is. And now who has to pay for that? Not Pete Parsons, although he's going to pay socially because he posted a tweet like, oh, man, bad. Rough day at Bungie, man. Who could have saw this coming?
Shut the fuck up.
We're all looking for the guy responsible for this.
You could have saw it coming because it was you who did it. It was literally you, not even Sony. Like, you can't even pass the buck to them. It was you. So, he's going to pay that way, but he's not going to pay in any. Honestly, it sounds like he's going to make more money because some of those people's unvested stock come back to Bungie, which means, I would imagine, in part, comes back to him. This sucks. I don't like. What really messes me up is people work on these games for a long time, then they come down and say, "Hey, we're selling to Sony. We're selling to Sony. You have all this stock. All you gotta do is stick around for a couple of years, and you're gonna get in on this action. All of the work you did to turn us into a valuable acquisition target is going to pay off for you personally." And you stick around and you stay with the company and you're waiting for your stock to vest, and then you get laid off. And now that stock is no longer yours. This leaves a really bad taste in the mouth, and a lot of this feels inexcusable, especially for people like, the composer, Michael Salvatore, was at the studio for over 25 years.
Jesus.
I get the idea of like having an on-staff composer is not how the video game industry works these days. Wait till their stock vests. And I guess I don't know the individual reality for each person. Maybe his stock is good because he's been there for so long. But I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. So we'll see. This does feel like it is part of a effort at Sony to shift away from whatever current strategy they were okay.
They went all in on this strategy for the last couple years. Like, they haven't even waited for it to pay off yet.
So Sony makes really big games that cost a lot of money, and they sell really well. So they make some money on those games. They don't make a ton of money on a God of War or a Last of Us Part 2 because they're so expensive to make. And then they're really expensive to market because they put a lot of marketing in there, like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of marketing. So these big projects are, we always say loss leaders. It's not technically true because they aren't actually losing money, but they are in that vein. And so Sony has always been looking for some other option here, or recently they've been looking for another strategy that took them to games as a service. And now they look like, hey, maybe that's not going to work, even though they have those 12 games in the work in production. There's rumors right now, and they're unverified, but someone like Reset Era will say, hey, I'm pretty familiar with what's going on. People seem to believe this person that Sony is now reconsidering that, like, oh, all 12 of those games are actually going to come out. It seems like they're going to cancel or at least indefinitely delay the Last of Us Factions, and something similar could happen to a lot of those games. And so Sony's maybe backing away from the games as a service strategy. Where does that leave them? Well, they're going to go probably get more third-party exclusives. but that this has been a major effort, a lot of money put into this, and again, who's going to pay for this miscalculation? It's going to be people getting laid off, and not the people at the top. Although I know Jim Ryan leaving might have nothing to do with this. It's hard for me to imagine that Jim Ryan leaves and then this parade of layoffs and bad news happens and they're unrelated. We don't know for sure that they're connected. I'm like grain of salt with my speculation that I'm putting out there. It is speculation, but for me, I have a hard time not seeing as connected.
It's a fucking big ass bummer. I mean, it's such a amazing year of game releases, but for the actual industry itself, it's very incredibly fucking depressing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. On another side, like, what do you think is the future of a Destiny 2? I mean, it sure feels, today, especially with all this, boy, it feels like that's running out of gas.
I mean, like it is, from an outsider's perspective, it has always felt near impenetrable to get into, right? Like you need.
I don't think it's an outsiders. There are people who stuck with that game for a very long time who got burned by one of the recent not very good expansions who are now like, I think I'm going to wait for a Destiny 3. And if those people are saying that, and
those people used to yell at me when I said I'm not getting back into it till a Destiny 3. Like,
and I've been on board with Mike saying that the entire time. Like, yeah, that sounds right to me. That's when I would check it out again. I mean, maybe with Giant Bomb, maybe we'll go play it sometime. I'm going to wait till a Destiny 3. That's where I'm at. And they seem against doing that, but the reality now might be they can't avoid shifting in that direction because that might be the only thing that gets people to feel, this is a fresh chance to feel good about this game again. Yeah. Marathon also, it's that's an extraction shooter. That's a tough genre to crack in general. There's a few big successful ones, including people I think like the mode in Call of Duty that does that stuff. But you're going to spend a couple extra years developing that game, and so it's going to be even more expensive, and that's going to put even more pressure on it, and it's going to come out, and are people going to care about extraction shooters in 2025? That's a tough thing to know, and I think that's what really they're worried about is live service games used to be a much safer bet because you could make them cheaper because you could experiment. You could do something small. You didn't have to make a whole campaign. And now these days, it's like actually you are competing for such a limited amount of people's time that if you don't put a ton of money into these games to make them big and shiny and stick out in every way possible, you don't stand a chance. So now they're just as expensive, if not more expensive, than a traditional game.
And I think my personal problem with it is it does seem like the budgets are going up in all these games, and they all do look bright and flashy, but they are all also starting to look very homogenous, and I just can't discern them from each other anymore. Like when we got the news that X-Defiant was going to be delayed, I can't tell you or point out on a police lineup what X-Defiant looks like.
Yeah, I tell you what, you're see it, and you're like, no, that's just Call of Duty.
Right? Like
exactly Call of Duty.
Or whatever Hyenas was supposed to look like.
Yeah. I don't know. Sonic dolls were going to be in that game, though, so you would have known that.
Okay. But the ones that I'm able to tell apart, I feel terrible because it's all the anime ones.
The moisturizer ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, the moisturizer games. I don't know. I think that it is easy to look at what is happening at Sony / PlayStation right now and be like, oh, they're in trouble. They're not in trouble. They know how to make big games and get people excited about that stuff, and then that leads people to buy their console, and that leads people to subscribe to PlayStation Network, and then spend a lot on microtransactions in free live service games like Fortnite and Call of Duty, and Sony's making more money than ever. But they do have to grow. That is their mandate. And they also have to feel extra pressure because not a lot of other parts of Sony are growing. So they're kind of carrying that entire corporation on their back, which makes it even more like precious to get every nickel and dime. And we've seen them sort of nickel and diming people here and there with some of these things, raising games to $70, be the first ones to do that. And then raising the price of PlayStation Network, something that they're still out there defending. So they are being forced to make choices that might feel like a little bit more aggressive, that might feel like arrogance and pushing people away. I think as long as they keep still making these really big games that no one else is making and making them high quality, they're going to be just fine. It's just going to mean that those are going to be even bigger risks where if one goes bad, there could be a toppling domino effect a little bit, and that could be a little bit. That's scary for Sony. That's why they keep taking these other bets, even though there's no clear answer on what to do next.
How can a studio like Sony that puts out big, giant AAA games, how can they be super fluid or expect to be super fluid when, like you can't adapt God of War Ragnarok to tap into the current cultural zeitgeist or whatever else is popping off with games at the time, right? You do have to make that giant bet because there's stuff that happens in Fortnite or, when Fortnite was really, really on a heater where it's like, no, we straight up stole this from these other games.
Right.
Is that because Sony is putting all of their eggs in the AAA blockbuster basket versus, well, but then I say that and I'm realizing they made this huge initiative to push for games as a service or live service games where that could have been their opportunity to adapt to whatever is super hot right now.
Right. But it's like what Jeff said, like it used to be like, oh, like live service games, you can make those kind of cheap. And then if they're a hit, then you invest in them. Now it's not even like that anymore. Even just getting any of those off the ground is this giant investment that takes years and years and years of development.
And what I hear is like, it's not even just expensive. No one knows how to do it. And we've how many times have we seen that? Like, oh, Destiny learned those lessons. Now every game after this is going to learn from what Destiny did, and they're going to come out with much stronger launches. And that never happens. Every game is still kind of a mess at launch and has to go through those growing pains on their own. Because as it turns out, and I hear this from places like Bungie, no one knows how to do it. It's so difficult. And so when Bungie shows up at like Naughty Dog and Naughty Dog's, we're working on Last of Us Factions, here's what it looks like. Bungie goes, oh shit, guys, this isn't going to work. This is going to be a real big problem. Like the game is fun. So the fuck what? You need this, and you need to have a seasons of content plan, and you need to have flexibility in your microtransactions so that you can put fucking Ariana Grande in there. And it's like, and the game's not prepared to do that. And so Bungie comes in and says, this is not great right now, and it's not going to work as a business. And then we're like, well, what does work? You're going to have to completely revamp everything, and that's going to take even longer. And actually, we don't really know either because we're kind of winging it. So it's games as a service turns out was never actually going to be this answer. It was because it's such a roll of the dice. And I get, Sony could roll the dice 12 times, and that gives you a better chance. But we're even seeing it. I don't know if Naughty Dog can't do it. Who can? It's kind of how it's got to be feeling coming out of this. And yeah.
Well, look, here's my naivete, and again, me not knowing shit about game development. But say you got all this money, you got all these studios. Isn't it a bit better bet to have the 12 very different things than 12 same things, and hoping that one of those will take off? I don't know.
I think that's what the thinking was like a year and a half ago for sure. But I think, listen, they're not going to stop making the very big things. So they were going to do both. They were going to have a lot of the big things that do the Sony PlayStation house style, and then they were going to have the 12 very different things. Or ideally, they would have been very different. But I think for Sony, they know it's actually better. Like if they had to pick or choose one or the other, they're going to keep doing the big Sony games that cost a lot of money because they know how to make those, and they know their audience is thirsty for those games. So they're going to keep doing that for sure. It's just those every single time they go out and they start another one of those big projects, it becomes riskier than the last time. And it's not just because it's going to be more expensive. It's because you're going to get diminishing returns, and the sort of creativity that you can squeeze from these studios. Well, yeah, I mean, look how good of a job they did rebooting God of War. Of course, yeah, they could do that again. It's like, well, when we're going to do a sequel, it's exactly like the last one, and people want that, and that's good. But then we're going to do another sequel, it's like exactly like the last one. Well, no, now we got to start changing things up, and hopefully people like the ways we're going to change it again. So it's complicated and risky, and they should be afraid of that because that is where they get all their money from, or at least get all the excitement from, and they want to maintain that. But hey, listen, they're still really skilled. They're probably going to figure some stuff out. It might mean like a couple of lulls like we got this year where there's not a ton of first party Sony games, and then you get Spider-Man 2, and that sort of covers up everything else. But we'll see. Sony's not alone in this. A lot of publishers are looking around like, what is the path to growth? and they were all thinking it was live service a little bit ago, and now no one's really thinking that anymore.
Is it?
But the scary thing is there is no obvious new thing for them to glom onto.
Are we going full circle and that licensed games may be the quick fix?
Yeah.
Because I can't think of a lot of positives coming out of Ubisoft except this Avatar game.
This Avatar game, that Star Wars game they're working on. People seem excited about that.
This is what 100% what has happened. It's another thing I hear from publishers is they know they need to be making really, really big games, and starting a new IP is even more risky and just as expensive as going out and renting an IP. So yes,
renting an IP, I like that.
Yes, and that's what they're doing. So I think that we can probably expect that trend to continue, especially if it keeps paying off, which it has with Star Wars and Harry Potter now. There's not a ton that will pay off. Maybe Avatar will. I'm skeptical. I'm probably going to have a good time with that. But I don't know. We'll see if that translates to video games.
Real quick, I'm sure we could all name off a couple properties, right? That could
King
potentially
Kong.
blow up.
Gollum.
Well, blow up both of those.
Popeye.
No, there was a Popeye
God,
game
remember
that came
that
out last
Popeye?
year.
Holy
I
shit!
played too much of it for the children.
Yeah,
and I hate the children. No, I don't hate the children.
I still have it installed on my Switch. I should play
terrible.
it again. It's
I think we've gotten to every horror franchise now, right? Those have all been used up for asymmetrical multiplayer games.
Absolutely.
I don't know. You could probably do an It.
Oh, you know what?
Sure.
I know that this got a game on the PlayStation 2. People really liked it, but I saw this movie called The Thing for the first time this weekend. That's really good. They should make a video game about that today.
They should do all of John Carpenter's movies. They Live would be a great video.
They Live would
Big
be
Trouble.
an amazing game, I think.
Yeah.
I really do think that'd be great.
I was going to say Escape from New York, but that's just Metal Gear Solid. So never
We'll
mind.
do it anyway.
Do it anyway.
Get Kojima to do it. He probably would. All right, let's move along with the stories here. Atari acquires Drew Scanlon's Digital Eclipse.
Hey!
Atari has agreed to acquire Digital Eclipse, a studio that specializes in remastering and restoring classic games. The deal is expected to be completed in the coming days, and it is worth up to $20 million. Atari said the acquisition will help it further support its retro-focused growth strategy. This is a strategy that also led them to acquire Night Dive Studios.
Yep.
So now Night Dive and Digital Eclipse under the Atari brand. I think I'm pretty down with what Atari's got cooking over there. If the idea is let's find a bunch of old shit that we can make feel new again, and let's go to the two studios that are the best at that in their own respective ways. Digital Eclipse does these sort of now interactive museums, great at collecting the surrounding materials and bringing it all into the experience. And now that you can read the materials and go right into playing it, and they set it up. So, I mean, God, I really want to keep a space in my top 10 for the making of Karateka, which is an amazing game, actually. Then on the other side, Night Dive, who's the best at remastering these old PC games. If Atari's strategy is this, I think I'm mostly on board these days. We'll see. And they say that they're going to keep being able to operate mostly independently at Digital Eclipse and doing the game projects that they want to do. It's just now they're going to have, I guess, maybe some extra resources from Atari. We'll see how that plays out.
Right. It's not like, they're only going to be able to work on Atari games or anything like that. That's not how it's going to work.
Ridiculous.
No, it's about Atari branding themselves as a retro gaming company, which I think just makes a lot of sense for them.
Makes sense.
If you want to do that, then man, Digital Eclipse and Night Dive before that, those are the two companies that you want.
It's funny you mentioned that, Mike, because I've always had that association with Atari. You guys make the old shit, right?
Yeah.
People do, so may as well lean into it.
Agreed. I'm such a fan of this, of thinking up the strategy and then executing on it in a way that I guess acquiring studios isn't executing on the idea. It's still setting up the idea. Let's see how they enable the Night Dive and Digital Eclipse to do even more. But as our Wolves in Chat says, Digital Eclipse is already talking in its newsletter about how it's working on the next Gold Master Series game. And that's what the making of Karateka is. It's the first in the Gold Master Series of these digital museums. So if they can have those coming out once a quarter, boy,
that would roll.
And I'm honestly, Atari would be a very they did Atari 50, obviously, so they've done a lot of that history. But diving in even deeper on some of those specific games, and then hopefully getting to a point where they've established this Gold Master Series as such a strong way to honor a game that maybe then Digital Eclipse gets to work with Sega or heaven forbid Nintendo, that would just be amazing. If they could do this for the original Legend of Zelda or something like that,
Ooh.
I would lose my mind. So, that's hopes and dreams, but we'll see. Yeah, go ahead.
Just that Digital Clips made that incredible Disney Afternoon collection, and it's still not on Switch, and I would very much like that, please. Yeah, it's weird. It's not on Switch. Drake. I saw that Drake dressed up as the genie for Halloween this year. So my first wish is, of course, the Quackshot remake.
You only get 3 of these, Mike.
The Quackshot remake. The second wish is for the Disney Afternoon collection on Switch, and my third wish, Genie, your freedom.
That's not how it works. I'm afraid that's not how it works.
That's how it works.
You're free.
That's how it worked in the first movie.
You've wasted a wish.
The genie, he dressed as a genie not for Halloween, but because his daughter somehow became convinced that the genie was going to come over and watch Aladdin with her. So he's like, I guess I got to do this now. That's how it works.
Hey, I dressed as the genie like when that movie was new for Halloween that year. I remember it was that year we had a big snowstorm, so I had to wear a coat over it. I was mad.
So no one could see that you were Will
story.
Smith genie.
Listen. What a captivating tale you've...
Jesus! Don't kill
He's
me.
just so mad that you're leaving us for to go on vacation, Mike.
You're funny. I take back what I said that one time. You're a funny guy.
Everyone heard it. I need to see a photo of that if we're gonna have that discussion. Just want to put that out there. Please, can I have that photo? And thank you.
Were you blue?
Yeah, were you blue?
No, you.
Well, okay. So listen up. Here's a story about a guy who lives in the blue world, and all day and all night, and everything I see is just blue, like him
Nintendo
inside and
dual-screen
outside.
gaming
Blue
device that
himself
can be
with the
split in
blue
half.
little window in a blue Corvette, and everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around, because he ain't got nobody to listen. Wow. I'm blue, da boo dee da boo die, da boo dee da boo die, da boo dee da boo die.
You are that song. You are that song.
Yes. Jeff, now you may continue.
Nintendo patents dual-screen gaming device that can be split in half. Nintendo filed a patent for a dual-screen device, and basically they're saying you can, in this patent, you'd be able to take it apart and both sides would still be able to operate independently. The device resembles a 3DS. And would use some sort of wireless gaming display technology between these two sides. It also features a touchscreen on the outside for interaction, even when closed. So screens on the inside, you fold it up like a book, and then there's still a screen on the outside, so it could continue to operate. The patent obviously does not guarantee that we'll get a actual product released like this. Nintendo patent stuff all the time.
No, of course. That said, I don't think I want this thing, even though I described needing something exactly like this earlier when complaining about couch co-op with Mario
Wonder.
If the
Switch 2 was like this, you don't want it back, Alar?
No, I don't trust wireless display. I just think we're in a bad place with that. I've yet to see it work in any real meaningful way.
I mean, the Wii U was mostly fine, unless you try to go
unless you
10 feet away.
Unless you sneezed or somebody walked in between you and the fucking line of sight.
But how frequently is that happening?
A lot. I got that thing, right? I remember I got that thing and I'm like, yo, I'm playing Call of Duty in bed. And no, I couldn't because it happened to go through one wall, hollow ass sheetrocked wall. It wasn't concrete, it wasn't brick, it was motherfucking sheetrock.
Yep.
The thing's sound has no problem penetrating. Anyway, so it's just that shit doesn't work well. I realized that was a long time ago. Maybe wireless video technology has improved in some way, hopefully through Wi-Fi. I don't know.
I just like the DS and 3DS a lot, so the idea of maybe getting some like ports or new ways to play those games, or God forbid, like sequels. If this is what I need to get Elite Beat Agents 2, then so be it. Let's do it. Of all the surprise like gimmicks they could do to the next Switch that maybe I would assumed I wouldn't want, this one I would be mostly okay with, because again, DS stuff is cool.
I've been pounding this drum for how fucking long now, Nintendo?
Very long. Like every Game S mornings for like a year and a half now. Yeah.
Cut the check, Nintendo. Come on.
I'm with you guys on, I would like a dual screen. I think I agree with Jeff. Like, let's avoid wireless display stuff. Like, the next Switch should still have a dock. of some sort. It shouldn't be like, here's a dongle, and then now you just flip a thing on the Switch, and now you're beaming the stuff to the TV. I don't really trust that. So
you don't want the thing to go wrong with your system to be the thing the system is, right? Like Joy-Con drifting, like absolutely widespread malfunction, but you could just replace those. Like let's not have the thing that the console is like centered around not work well. That would be horrible.
That would be a Wii U problem.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's probably unlikely that the Switch 2 has anything to do with this, Patton.
Probably.
Just to make it clear.
Switch is probably going to be a Switch 2.
Yes, exactly. Microsoft is ending support for unofficial third-party peripherals. Microsoft has started blocking the use of unofficial accessories with Xbox consoles. This is reportedly related to Microsoft expanding its program for approved third-party wireless Xbox controllers. Third-party Xbox devices that are part of the Designed for Xbox partner program should not be affected, which is probably what most people have. But other things might actually be affected, and those could include like certain third-party fighting game controllers. It will definitely include things like a couple of devices that I have. This company sent me where you plug this into your Xbox, and then you plug a mouse and keyboard in there, and then it tells the thing you're using a controller when you're actually using a mouse and keyboard, so you can cheat in video games.
Wow,
cool.
Yes, right. That's like a fun. Yeah, I want to cheat in video games that way every once in a while. Well, they don't like the idea of these faults in the system. I think that's kind of how they're talking. They're saying safety and security, but I think they also this is a weakness in the chain there. We're like, people could cheat that way. Really though, it's probably about this approved for Xbox thing where maybe Xbox gets a little bit more money if everyone has to go through them to get approved. At least that's how I read it. I don't know. There's people in the fighting game community that are upset about this. There's people who are worried maybe about accessibility, although that Xbox accessibility controller will obviously still work. So there's some weirdness here. I think it's a shame to have stuff work one way to the point where people make purchasing decisions based on it, and then to change it midstream. But at the same time, these are closed systems. This is how they work. Play games on PC, I guess. I don't know. It's not really a great. They should. Overall, I wish they could find another solution here. That would be ideal. But I don't know. You guys, I just don't think this affects us too much. We probably are mostly using official stuff, right?
Yeah. Mostly using my freaking Starfield controller, an amazing controller for a game. But nice controller.
Yeah,
The upside to this though is that more of these third-party controllers will now be wireless, where before like a lot of stuff you get, like I got a couple of 8-bit DOs that are for Xbox and they're wired because Microsoft uses proprietary wireless technology. Well, it seems like the whole point of this is to expand that stuff into more of these controllers. So that'll be something, and that will work for headsets as well. But still, it seems like you could probably do that without having to cut off all of these other devices.
Yeah, it seems unnecessary to me.
I agree. Capcom will have a major title by March 2024 that is currthink unannounced. It will apparently going to sell millions of copies according to Capcom. So
then it's not Mega Man. Shit.
I think that means it has to be Beautiful Joe. Is what I wrote down here. It's Monster Hunter as hell. It has to be Monster Hunter.
Oh, either that or maybe Resident Evil 9 is sooner than we think, but probably Monster Hunter.
Don't do that to me. You can, dude. Why would you even put that in my head, Mike?
What, the Resident Evil?
RE9 in March? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's way too early. That's absolutely way too early. It's going to be Monster Hunter.
It could be two things. Okay. Right? It's probably Monster Hunter. Also, I've heard good things about the Niantic Monster Hunter game.
Yes.
I can't dive back into that world.
No, don't do it, Dan.
2?
Yeah.
Resident Evil 6 remake.
Get the fuck
that was.
here.
Jam, we have to do 5 first.
No.
Jam, what are you doing?
No,
there's no way they skip 5 and go to 6. Okay.
They're gonna go past 5 because it's too. They're not gonna want to deal with it. I'm like,
because is it 5 the one where you punch the boulder?
Yeah, but it's also you also punch a lot of. You also punch a lot of poor African villagers.
Yes,
so maybe they were like,
6. No, just stop. we've reached the end of the ride with RE4.
You should do Code Veronica. Code Veronica.
Yeah, Code Veronica. Yes, Code Veronica.
They're gonna do. I think they're gonna do Resident Evil 1 remake next. That's the next remake. I think.
I think you're right.
No, they are just going to do 5. They're going to do 5. It's the easiest, most logical thing for them to do.
Didn't they already do one?
I know.
Yeah, they did one 20 years ago for GameCube.
Yeah, but that was 2002.
Oh, but they didn't do like the new
new style.
Oh, that was just 2 and 3. Okay, right.
Yeah, 2, 3, and 4 now.
Yeah. So go do one. Great, do one. Love it.
I think they will. Yeah,
I mean they will. They
that
should
one
do
remake
Zero.
Is great.
Because Zero has problems. Make Zero amazing now.
Make Zero a good game because Zero's got a good concept. You're on a train.
That train for Rebecca Chambers is cool.
Yeah, she's
clearly
picked up.
The message is anything but 5 and 6. Okay, anything but 5 and 6.
Hey, look, I kind of like 5. It's a stupid game.
5. I played 5 2 years ago with Abby, and if it wasn't for how charming we both were, that would have been a complete disaster.
That's why they'll make it better now.
Yeah.
I want to play 6, by the way. Who wants to play Resident Evil 6 with me?
Not me. This is me not raising my hand.
I'll do it.
I'll do it if I don't have to play Resident Evil 4.
What is with?
Yeah. See, he's
playing 4.
Yeah, he's just trolling you a little bit with 4. Grub, is that the thing you don't like 4?
No, my thing is I love Resident Evil 4, and I just say I already played that game though. So
okay.
This is a new game.
Mike, I'll even take your side on that argument because Grub's wrong. Like playing 4 now,
I'm definitely just trolling at this point.
Yeah, 100%. which is just as valid. Yeah.
Thank you.
What if it's a Dark Void remake?
Hell yeah.
Okay, well, let's go.
No, remake Dark Sector. That's the right dark game to make. Dark Sector. Do that again.
Is there anything else it could be? We're not getting a new Devil May Cry yet.
No, Beautiful Joe 3 confirmed.
That would not sell millions of copies.
It's
gonna
so
sell
hard
one.
to see anything but Monster Hunter because Monster Hunter is like due. We're like that's the one.
It's due, and it would sell millions of copies.
And they're always making Monster Hunter. As soon as Hunter World was done, they started making another one, even though Rise was also coming.
Yeah.
So like they. Yes, we're due, and it's gonna happen soon. So I imagine that's what this.
No,
is.
I just don't want no Lost Planet. No, don't bring that shit back.
It's not Dead Rising. It's not Lost Planet. It's not gonna be
any of that.
Is Power Stone them?
Power Stone is them.
It was them. God, I wish just give me that Power Stone collection you made for PSP on like the Switch. That's all I actually need.
It's a re-release
of
Darkstalkers. That's what's gonna
hell
actually
yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. But they already did that. They already did give us the Darkstalkers collection, and it ruled.
David Hayter is involved with Metal Gear again. Konami has enlisted fan favorite Metal Gear voice actor David Hayter to promote its recent series revival. This includes the release of Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, which includes a number of the earlier series entries and a Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater remake for PS5, Xbox Series, PC. Hayter has also teased that this is only the beginning, and that references to other Metal Gear series games have been found in the files of Volume 1, suggesting a second volume could be released in the future. What if they got him to do the voice for, Snake in Metal Gear Solid 5? That'd be pretty wild.
Oh, that'd be great. I like Hayter. I mean, we all like Kojima. That was kind of fucked up when he, his star fucking got out of control. That's the height of his
star fucking taking over his brain like worms. It's such a bad call. Like such a historically bad call.
Snake.
Yeah, for the guy that I liked in fucking 24. We know you were watching 24, Kojima. Obviously, that's high art. I get it. I love it too.
We're all in agreement.
We're all in agreement here. But then going and like pulling this one, that was a dick move.
Yeah, it was a dick move. But in terms of like the choice of actor in a vacuum, I mean, are we really about to say that like Norman Reedus is like a cool thing? Like.
Well, but like Norman Reedus wasn't replacing anybody, but
no,
that was
right.
But listen,
but that's what I'm saying.
I just
in
watched
a vacuum.
Walking Dead, and now I want to put him in a video game. Also, totally loser behavior.
Yes. What is that? Who sees that as like audition successful?
This is such
Mr.
a thing with
Reedus.
this is the thing with all developers for sure. They see something they want to put it, but like Japanese developers love doing this. They love watching American prestige TV and putting.
Yeah, but so does Ed Boon.
And Ed Boon 100%. Yes.
Yeah,
so many,
kind of. But I don't think Megan Fox is in any prestige TV. I don't know where that came from.
Ed Boon's just like I don't even. It's not the same thing. It's the same kind of thing though.
Jan won't say it, but I will. Put Walton Goggins in a goddamn video game.
Let me slob on my gog.
What are we waiting for?
Hey,
what are we waiting for?
He's Walton Goggins. He's playing the ghoul in the Fallout TV series. He's going to be in a video game TV show.
He should play the medieval guy.
What
medieval guy?
Wait, from the game Medieval?
Yeah.
The skeleton knight? What do you mean?
That's actually pretty good.
The
I like
skeleton
that.
man.
Wait. How is that a person and not
doesn't
CG?
have a jaw. He doesn't speak. He mumbles. He goes mumble, mumble, the whole game.
Goggins has got a good mumble
And
voice.
Walter Goggins would be very charming as it.
In video games right now.
You know, I want to live in the world where instead of what's it, not Topher Grace. Who's in 24?
Kiefer
Kiefer Topher. I get it.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, you did good. You did good.
People names. I get it, Dan. I get it.
Yo, give me a world where instead of Kiefer Sutherland blowing up and taking off, give me a world where it was David Boreanaz.
Who's
that?
The U.S. Navy SEAL guy, Angel from the Buffyverse.
Yes. That's in between generation thing there.
Shouts out to Big Forehead Gang.
I always want to watch that U.S. Navy SEALs show with David Boreanaz, which has been going on for like 10 years now or something like that. I'm always so weirdly curious about these shows that are like on network TV and have 10 plus seasons.
Right.
But what's the hospital show? With
Grey's Anatomy.
How many seasons does that have? Like
84.
She's not on the show anymore. Ellen Pompeo is not on the show anymore.
But she was on it for like dozens of, like almost like 24 seasons or something like that, right?
But the thing is, it's called Grey's Anatomy because she is Meredith Grey. I don't understand how you continue to have this show without her.
Yes, it's wild. 19 seasons. Okay, I'm so morbidly curious about that. Those seasons have like 24 episodes per season.
They have spin-offs as well that tie into it.
I think you need to protect yourself from Grey's Anatomy. I'm just going to say that.
You're right, but I might not. What were you going to say, Mike?
Well, like Nathan Fillion's the same thing, right? Because he's like beloved, like cult TV from Firefly, but then like his actual careers were first that show where he was a writer, Castle, and then he's been on the Rookie forever, just another network cop show. That's like that's where they all find themselves in the end.
Yep, there's that's where all the money is. Lots of money in them there cop hills. All right, let's see here. Okay, Baldur's Gate 3 is still on track to hit Xbox before the end of this year. They basically just give an update saying latest on the Xbox version is it's being actively play tested, still on schedule for this year. We'll announce the exact release date when we're sure it's done. Hey, that's good news. And there's, it's November now. You feel like, well, must have to announce it by now. No, they could drop this whenever because it's going to be digital only for at first. So yeah,
I know we were kind of expecting to see it in that Xbox partner showcase, and we're a little surprised it didn't show up, and we're maybe a little scared it was going to miss this year. But it seems like it still should be okay there.
Yep. And then Remedy is also still working on Control 2, Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake, and a bunch more. Remedy Entertainment has provided updates on several upcoming titles, including Control 2, Max Payne 1+2 Remake, Condor, and Codename Vanguard. Control 2 is in the proof of concept stage. Let's see here. While the Max Payne remake is in the production readiness stage, Condor, a cooperative multiplayer game, has progressed from the proof of concept stage to the production readiness stage. And then Codename Vanguard, a game we don't know much about, is still in the early planning stages. So obviously they just finished Alan Wake 2. They are working on a lot of projects, but it doesn't sound like they're working on them super in parallel. It is like an order of operations thing. They're finishing Alan Wake 2, and they'll mostly move on to one of these other projects. Sounds like Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake and Condor will be the ones that they're getting to next.
Should I play those?
Right. That's what I've never really played the Max Payne games. I think I'm
they're
going to wait for
great.
the remakes.
Fun.
Yeah,
They're
so
definitely
good.
They're shooters, like first and foremost, but very fun, very atmospheric.
They get credited with like bullet time.
Bullet time, yes,
right?
That
in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I played those in college in a big way. I just remember there was something about mouse and keyboard with those games where like while Max is just parallel to the ground, you could just like swing that mouse around and just have him flop around in the air like that.
Right.
It really is
so
great. I highly recommend mouse and keyboarding that if you can.
Okay, that sounds great.
Not the GBA version?
Well, other than
No,
the
I'm gonna
GBA
say
version.
no. Gonna say no.
You can plug a mouse and keyboard into a GBA if you really put your mind to it.
Control only came out in 19.
Yeah, not that long ago.
It's a different
Sounds
life.
right.
Does anyone else put Remedy in this like they're just a little developer kind of like box?
Yeah,
In my
but
head,
not
yeah.
anymore.
I
not
did do
anymore.
that, but they've always like because they just put Alan Wake 2 and they were working on that what's the shooter that they helped out with? From
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that
The thing-
Crossfire.
Crossfire,
Yeah,
yes, they did Crossfire
yeah.
campaign. So they've like had work for hire projects, multiple like sequels that they're working on, remakes. Alan Wake 2, obviously, a multiplayer game. They have a lot of projects cooking at the same time. They've been trying to expand. Seems like it's going to work now, especially with this Epic money and Alan Wake 2 money.
But they got to be way more massive, right? Like hundreds and hundreds of people, right?
Yeah, listen, I have no idea. I would probably put them around 200 people, 200, maybe 300 people at this point, and probably getting bigger.
Wikipedia says 360.
All right, there you go, 360.
Good
Yeah.
guess. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right, and then Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door has already been rated for Switch. The highly praised GameCube exclusive turn-based RPG has been rated already in Brazil and South Korea. This has happened for a lot of games before, and when it has happened, those games usually come out within about 6 to 10 weeks after they get rated. So that would put this game as very early 2024, which I would love that. I welcome it.
You would expect a bit of a buffer between this and the Mario RPG remake, though.
I would hope so.
You would expect it unless like they're worried about some other big games coming. And they're like, well, no, we got to get this out because, Princess Peach game's coming out and then it's all in on Switch 2 later in the year. So listen, it is better to get this game out a few weeks after Super Mario RPG than any time after you announce the next Switch because these games kind of just go out to die if people are waiting for that next system. So
we saw what happened with Bowser's Inside Story remake on the 3DS because that is
exactly.
like the worst
So let's
selling
avoid
Mario
that.
game ever.
Yep, let's 100% avoid that situation. They've obviously learned the lesson there, I think. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get the Super Mario RPG is in November. God, how far away are we from that?
Not very
November's
far.
I think
tomorrow.
Yeah, right. It's
November's tomorrow. I
And
mean,
it's
WarioWare's in like 3 days.
Oh no!
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's happening fast, and then I could see this game coming out in January or February or something like that. It could be like even like I guess is there going to be a physical version of this? I suppose there might be.
Yes.
So they might not shadow drop it, but at like the next direct early
Yeah, it's
next
going to be
year.
a box game. It better be in 60 frames per second, by the way.
Oh yeah, I
Holy
agree.
hell.
I'm right there with you. That'll be very frustrating if that 30 frames per second turns out to be the case. All right, that does it for the news. Jan, show, it's yours again.
I feel exhausted, so I got to take a quick bricky break.
Let's do
And
it.
then we'll read some emails, some shout outs. Backlar's going to go tend to
I got Halloween affairs that need attention. So everyone have a great holiday. Enjoy yourselves.
Happy
and be
Halloween,
scary.
Backlar.
Likewise.
Bye, Bacalar.
Bye.
Take care, everyone. See you next time.
Oops. Welcome back to the Giant Bombcast, everyone. Jeff Bakalar had to go take care of Dib and all of his hoodlums on Halloween. So Mike and Grub and I are going to read some emails. Emails. First email comes from Chris. Oh, also, you can write into the show by writing to bombcast@giantbomb.com.
Bombcast@giantbomb.com.
I read all of the emails. I appreciate all of the emails. There was one funny one that I got sent to Bakalar about where he was over the weekend and being spotted at a very hyper-specific place. And
strip club.
Yes. Spotted him at the strip club. God, that just reminds me of a conversation I had yesterday. First email comes from Chris. They write in, just finished the series. This is an Animorphs check. Just finished the series because the only benefit of 1 hour train rides to and from work is tons of reading time, and wanted to see how Jan and Grub were doing on their Animorphs read. Reading the series in my 30s really hammers home that I read them entirely too young. Missed the crippling PTSD and casual war crimes as a grade school kid, but love the animals and PlayStation jokes. Love, Chris.
Yeah, of course. I mean, who's not gonna love the animals and PlayStation jokes? I still have only read the first book, but hearing that you got onto book 10, Jan, makes me want to continue because I enjoyed myself. I had a good time reading
book
that.
10.
They're very quick reads. I mean, they're YA novels, so they're very thin and like
and they're like not like YA is and like Harry Potter's YA. It's like no, it's younger than that.
Yeah. And I think they're actually legitimately good books, and I think it's interesting that no one has tried to do it again and try and adapt it yet. I feel like it could be very good, but it is very challenging because like you're gonna have shoot animals, you're gonna have CGI animals. It's hard for animals to emote, and that's why I didn't like The Lion King, the Jon Favreau one.
Cats can't move their jaws left or right. They can only move them up or down. How are you going to make a face when you can't even move your face?
But apparently it doesn't matter.
Eat shit, cats.
That's right,
cats. My jaw like crazy. You suck.
But isn't Lion King one of their biggest blockbuster movies?
$1 billion.
Yeah, it's the highest grossing animated movie of all time.
The Jon Favreau one, right?
The Jon Favreau one.
Whoa.
Yes. It's still technically an anime. Not technically, it just is an animated movie. Yes.
That's insane. Apparently, he took that tech and has made a dinosaur show.
No.
Kind of want to check that out.
Not the mama.
Not the mama. Oh, no. God, hell no.
I'm the
mama.
baby. Gotta love me. Don't you wish they're warmer of me? I should just do that whole song.
You remind me of the baby from Dinosaurs, Mike.
I know.
All right.
I'm the Mikey. Gotta love me. Don't you wish they're warmer of me?
Okay, we got to make a holiday shirt, Mike.
One in a million. One in a million. Really.
I'm the Mikey. Gotta love me.
Yeah, I'm the Mikey. Gotta love me.
All right. We talked about some Oreo tech last week on the show, and Adam from Boise, Idaho, writes in about their own, not Oreo quiz, Oreo tech. They write in and tell us, Dear Giant Bomb Pervs, that's true. Any way you combine Oreos and milk is probably great, but I think the best way is to stick a fork in the cream and then completely submerge the Oreo. Takes a little trial and error to get the timing, but generally when the initial bubble stream slows is the right to take it out so it doesn't fall apart. Much love, Adam from Boise.
I don't like wet Oreos. I don't do the milk stuff. I like a crunchy, regular Oreo personally.
Aren't you? Yeah. You're not much of a cookie guy at all, though, right, Mike?
That's true, but like, I'm not even that much of a chocolate guy. But Oreos are fucking amazing. I mean,
if I was the one that's like he like doesn't ever have cookies. He's right, never.
But I bet
cookie.
If we told Dan like Oreos are cookies, he'd be shocked to learn that. I think he doesn't consider them cookies.
I wonder if asking what flavor he thinks an Oreo is, what answer that we'd get.
I mean, it's just cookies and cream. It's like chocolate, cookies, and cream flavor.
Yeah, but would he say it's chocolate?
I think he'd say it's just chocolate. I mean, that is the predominant flavor is chocolate. I mean, the cream filling is basically just a sugar filling.
God,
sugar chocolate.
Oreos. Man,
yeah, I hope. maybe I'll get a pack of the Halloween Oreos before I go to like see my nephews and nieces for trick or treating because it's an
Oreos
excuse.
in the house or I'll eat them all.
Yeah, well that's why
such an addiction for me.
Right, exactly. I'd never buy them because I just know. Like, if I buy a pack of Oreos, I live alone. It's just admitting, well, all of that is going to go inside me at some point, and that's a problem. We can't do that. So I'll buy them and bring them, and a bunch of kids will eat them. And if they don't, I'll leave them
I
there.
have a family, and now I'm a family unto myself when it comes to Oreos.
Yeah, Oreos. Those are just good. Good lard cookies.
Oh yeah, so top tier lard cookie.
Hell yeah.
God.
They're not vegan, are they? Or Oreos can't be vegan. I thought it's mostly just.
Well, the cream inside, right?
Yeah, but I think even the cookie has a ton of like fat.
Oh, they're vegan apparently.
Really? Okay, so
yeah,
some lard-esque product.
Yeah,
Crisco.
Okay, where do you two fall on the double stuff, regular or the thin Oreo?
Regular.
I think I'm mostly
ratio.
Yeah, I mostly want a regular, but I'm not gonna turn my nose up at any of them.
The double stuff these days are a bit too much for me, which is how I know I'm getting old.
Do you remember? Do you guys like the?
It's gonna happen to you too.
I know, and I'm scared. I talked about headlamps for a little bit today.
I used to really like those white fudge covered ones. That's a bit much for me, also. But those are fun.
How do y'all feel about the different SKUs of Oreos, like the holiday flavored
I'm glad they're
ones?
out there for those freaks that need them. Just give me the regulars. Give me the vanilla.
I like it better when they just color them, like the Halloween ones that are orange but the same flavor. That's good.
Yes.
The cinnamon, there's like a gingerbread cookie one. That's okay, but yeah, just give me a regular
I can only
Oreo.
have so many. Like those ones, maybe I like because I can stop eating them. Where Oreos, I can't stop eating them.
Okay. God, I gotta go to the store after this.
Yeah, me too. I gotta buy some fucking Oreos now.
damn all of you emailing. All right, well, while we're at the store, Mike, maybe we buy some juice because Jeremy from Montreal writes in about juicy games. Hey, Bombers. In game design, there's a term that describes the extra details that don't directly affect gameplay, but instead aim to invoke feelings from that gameplay to make it feel better. That term is juice. I've been playing Super Mario Wonder over the last week, and while you can argue whether it's the best 2D Mario platformer, there's no arguing it is the juiciest Mario game. Mario's 100%. New and varied animations when he jumps, the drum roll and crash when Mario butt stomps, the enemy faces when they witness the murder of their fellow enemy, it all comes together in an explosion of juice. Do you guys have any favorite juicy aspects from Super Mario Wonder? And also, can you think of any other games with this level of juice? Thanks for all you do. Love you guys. Jeremy from Montreal.
So I started watching some TikToks and some YouTube shorts about Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Oh, okay.
And I would watch them on a loop way longer than I intended to because of this juice. Like hearing it's like a slot machine almost, this game.
Yeah,
like
I can see that.
Collecting. I think the juiciest part for me, I think, is collecting the purple coins. The sound that those make as you collect them, and they're all usually bunched together, so you're getting the ding 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 really fast. It just lights up my brain. But the whole game is that way. So yeah, I'm definitely like a huge part of. I'm like definitely super down.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, just like the different pipe animations, especially since that's like the biggest point of comparison of the complete lack of juice in New Super Mario Brothers. Just nothing happens when they go down a pipe, except that literal character model just literally moves like down the axis into it. There's no animation.
It's like just clicking on it and sliding it down.
Yes.
Like that's all they're doing to it. Yeah.
Right. So like the fact that there's like animations and all this fun stuff when they're doing pipe shenanigans in this game, that's the juiciest part of Wonder for me.
Yeah, I love that aspect of it too. And this pains me inside as a Sonic fan that Sonic Superstars is devoid of juice.
There's very little juice. You're correct.
Yeah.
There's not much juice. That's for sure. You know what was a really juicy game, and I think it helped it pop off so much at first, was Overwatch. That was very juicy.
Oh
yeah, tons of juice.
Remember how excited people were just about the reload animations? And that's the kind of stuff that in year 5 you kind of begin to take for granted. That was so much of why Overwatch was awesome at first. It was juicy as all hell.
I'm trying to think of other games with like good juice.
I mean, I think like there's like subtle juice, like Hades has a lot of just extra elements on all the attacks, and as you upgrade them and unlock more abilities for them, they get juicier and juicier.
The last Ratchet and Clank has a lot of juice as well.
Yeah, Wreck the Part's juicy. Street Fighter 6, pretty juicy.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Mortal Kombat 1, literally more juicy, but Street Fighter 6.
Vampire Survivors is a good one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's almost too much juice. It's you're bathing in the blood juice.
We're drowning in it. Yeah.
It's like a blood rave almost. All right. Next email comes from someone, and I forgot to write their name, and I apologize. Feel free to take these 40 podcast points as a consolation prize. This is about Luigi's Mansion. Is Luigi's Mansion an Alan Wake-like? Or is Alan Wake a Luigi's Mansion-like? Should we refer to games where you have to use your flashlight on enemies before you can defeat them as in Alan's Mansions? What other Alan's Mansions and Alan Mansion's lights are there?
Alan Mansion, well, Luigi's Mansion was definitely first. That's for sure. So I guess it gets the bulk of the credit. Although, Super
Metroid was first, and right compared to Metroidvanias,
yeah. Okay. So that means it would be. So actually, then Alan Wake's name would be first. It's like Metroidvania, so it'd be Alan Mansion for sure. No, it'd be Alan Mansion.
Okay, yeah,
You're Alan
right.
Mansion.
Yeah, it's reversed. You're right.
God, can someone please mod in a Luigi skin into Alan Wake?
Oh, that's got to happen. I mean, that's probably happened in the first one at some point. People have made this connection. That's had to have happened.
I hope it has.
Now.
I hope it has.
Yeah. Man, Luigi's Mansion 3 is such a good game. That game has juice. Talk about some juice.
Oh, yeah.
Luigi's Mansion 3, very juicy.
The punch out for Wii from Next Level as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Captain Toad has juice as well.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely does.
Yeah. Mario games have juice.
The 3D Mario games and their spin-offs, definitely. The 3D Mario games are missing a lot of juice until Wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sunshine, literally a lot of juice.
Kirby has juice.
Well, Kirby, Forgotten World, definitely. Forgotten Land, excuse me. Tons of juice.
Kirby has juice is the name of this episode, by the way.
Okay,
I thought it was going to be Mike MiNa'vi.
Okay,
that's also pretty good. All right, next email is about cream. For reasons we don't get into, I once had to research fat percentages in milk and cream. This is what I remember. Skim milk is virtually fat-free.
Yes.
1 and 2% milk is self-explanatory. Whole milk is around 3.25% fat. It's also called whole milk because no fat is removed from it. I'm no cream expert, but from what I understand, when non-homogenized milk is left undisturbed, the fat separates from the rest of the milk. This fatty part of the milk is cream. The cream does, in fact, rise to the top. Cream comes in multiple milk fat percentages. Light cream is about 20% fat, but can go upwards to 30. Whipping cream, also called light whipping cream, is anything from 30 to 36% fat. Heavy cream, also called heavy whipping cream, is anything 36% fat or more. Just for good measure, sour cream is made by introducing lactic acid bacteria to cream, which makes it thicken and ferment. Cream is used in soups, stews, whipped cream, ice cream, and lots of other stuff. Cream is great. Joe from New York. I realize we should have saved this for when Dan is around, but I don't know.
Yeah, he wouldn't have remembered any of it anyhow. So.
Yeah. I mean, the man initially surprised that cream and milk are similar things. Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Joe continues, P.S. Here's something you can do at home. Take some heavy cream and pour it into a bottle about halfway. Close the bottle tight and shake for around 10 minutes. Eventually, you'll get a big lump of stuff in the bottle. That's butter.
Yep.
That liquid that's left is buttermilk. Oh, there are better ways to make There are better ways to make butter, but it's still fun. PPS.
I'll just put it in my centrifuge, which I have, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Out of all of us, Baclar would probably have a centrifuge.
No, he definitely would. Yeah. He would have CNETs and just never gave it back.
Yeah, and they never realized that they had a centrifuge.
Of course not. No.
All right. We'll end the email segment with a quiz. TV quiz.
Oh.
Let's go.
Hey, gang. Several weeks ago, you talked about TV shows you had heard of but never knew nothing about. This made me realize how little I knew about a number of shows I definitely watched as a kid or young adult, trying to figure out if I could recall a single episode. During that pursuit, I was surprised how long or short-lived a number of shows were, so I made a simple quiz about it. Each question is a group of 3 shows associated with a TV network, except the last one. All you have to do is say which of these 3 had the most episodes produced. Some of them didn't air all of their episodes, but I think the correct answer is the same in either case. Answer key is at the bottom. Don't worry, boys. I did not put the answer key here. I got it.
Great. Thank you.
Somewhere else to avoid wandering eyes. All right.
Mike.
I wasn't even. I've opened the doc like once this entire time. Don't worry about me.
Okay. Now, which of these had the most episodes? Network. ABC. The options are Better Off Ted, Cavemen, Cop Rock.
Cavemen was like on for like 2 episodes or something. So it's not Cavemen. I don't know about those other 2.
I want to say Better Off Ted, but I think Cop Rock got a full season. So I'm going to go with Cop Rock.
I think people were too upset about Cavemen. Like, I can't believe they're turning a commercial into a sitcom. Like, how dare they?
Yeah,
like the sanctity of network sitcom.
They're commercializing network television, Mike.
Yeah, like, oh,
heinous. No. I said, I'm going with Cop Rock. What's your answer, Mike?
I'll go the other one, Better Off Ted.
Mike, you win. Better Off Ted had 26 episodes.
Let's go.
Wow.
Cavemen had 13 and Cop Rock had 11, though none of the 3 shows ended up airing its full completement.
Man, that's more for Cavemen than I thought. Okay.
All right, number 2, CBS. The shows are CSI: Cyber.
Cool. Man, I want to see that now.
My Big Fat Greek Life.
I think it is.
And then third is Shit My Dad Says, a.k.a. Shit My Dad Says.
Starring William Shatner.
Right, with William Shatner. I think Shit My Dad Says got a season. I think they gave that the old college try.
I feel like a CSI show like just automatically gets a ton of episodes, even if it's not going to be a full season. I'm gonna go CSI Cyber.
Grub, you win. CSI Cyber has 31 episodes.
Holy shit.
Right? Shit My Dad Says somehow made 18, and My Big Fat Greek Life had 7 episodes.
Okay.
Man, would it be great if we just watch every episode of CSI Cyber? That'd be fantastic.
Oh my! Don't say things that I know we're going to end up doing.
The content.
Is that on Paramount Plus? You think?
It's on archive.org.
Oh boy, there we go. All right. NBC. The options are Alf, My Name is Earl, and Suddenly Susan.
I'll go with My Name is Earl.
My Name is Earl was on for a while because that was on because it was like it was on the same time as The Office, so it was like they benefited from Office. It was like the same night. Suddenly Susan.
I've never heard of Suddenly Susan.
Is that the Louis Dreyfus one? No, that's a different
it's not.
one.
I thought it was.
I've only ever heard of Suddenly Susan when they make jokes about it on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
The thing is, My Name is Earl. It was I don't know how many episodes a season that one got.
I feel like it was on forever.
I thought it was on for forever, but
it was on for. I mean, Alf wasn't on for like a short amount of time either.
No.
I mean, so these ones are all.
My other guess would be Alf here.
These are all multi-seasons.
Yes.
But Jeff's saying My Name is Earl, right?
Yeah.
And I have to beat him, so I'll go with Suddenly Susan. Actually.
Ooh, okay, I like this move.
Dark Horse.
Well, you both are wrong.
Shit,
it's Alf.
In the end, it's Alf. I wish I could have changed my answer, but
in the end, it's always Alf. Alf with 102 episodes. My Name is Earl with 96. And do you guys want to guess how many episodes Suddenly Susan had?
5.
I'm gonna say
I was way off.
20.
93.
Oh,
Holy
okay.
Shit.
So it was close. It was close.
Yeah, close race there. All right, Fox. We have Ally McBeal, The Bernie Mac Show, and The OC.
These are all popular shows.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say Ally McBeal right now. I feel like that was on forever. Ally McBeal.
Okay. I'll go with The OC then.
Mike, I think you're in the lead here with Ally McBeal.
Ooh, Ally
Let's
McBeal is
go.
a good call. That's definitely the right answer.
I don't know. I know what Ally McBeal is because people talk about it all the time. I couldn't tell you a single thing about that show, what it's about, what the genre is.
Dancing
I don't
Baby?
know. What?
The Dancing Baby? Like that's
I remember
that
the
show,
Dancing Baby. That's from Ally McBeal.
They co-opted it.
Okay. Is it a comedy?
No.
It's dramedy, right?
Does it star a character named Ally McBeal?
Yeah. It's like it's like a lawyer show, right?
Procedural. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. Ally McBeal, 112. Bernie Mac had 104. And OC had 92. All right. We get, there's 12 of these. So number 5, TBS. We have 10 items or less. Are we there yet? And the Bill Engvall Show.
All right.
What?
Let's see.
10 items or less.
We're guessing who had the most, right?
Most episodes.
What do you mean? What are we guessing? This is the 5th one.
I was distracted. I
By what? The horrifying dancing baby thing?
10 items less probably is right, but I'll go with Are We There Yet?
Mike, what did you say?
10 items or less.
Grub, you evened it back up because
okay. All right. Luck.
Are We There Yet with 100 eps, 10 items or less, only managing 21 episodes or
what
less.
Are these shows?
And then Bill Engvall hitting 30. Okay, all right. Next, we have USA, where characters are welcome.
Of course.
The shows to choose from are Burn Notice, Monk, and White Collar.
Burn Notice.
All have infinite shows.
Burn
Infinite
Notice
episodes.
I think a new Monk special is coming out, or it did come out, but I think it's Burn Notice.
I love me some Shaloub.
I'll go with Monk.
Mike?
He said Burn Notice.
Notice. Sorry.
No. This was a dramatic pause.
Oh.
Okay.
Mike,
Yeah.
you are incorrect.
No.
Grub ekes out Monk with
Yeah,
125
there we go.
episodes.
Tony Shalhoub has never
That
failed
many,
me.
man.
But
I knew it was on for a while, but jeez.
But Burn Notice, very close with 111 episodes.
I knew it also had a lot, yeah.
White
What
Collar.
even was the other one? White Collar.
I don't.
I watched White Collar.
White Collar had 81 episodes. All right.
White Collar's the one. It's like Catch Me If You Can, but the TV show version. Like, a guy that did crime's going to help them solve crime.
There's too many episodes of Monk to do a watch along show, guys.
No, you could
Not
watch
with
the
that
first few
attitude.
seasons before it becomes a little rote, maybe.
Next, the WB. The shows are Angel, Dawson's Creek, and Felicity.
Oh, Dawson's
Felicity.
Creek. Dawson's Creek. Coming up next on the WB, it's another bad show that
This
will
is cultural
see.
appropriation. You're not allowed to do that.
I can't be that frog. What's that frog's name?
William J. Frog, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Billy
yeah.
Frog.
Mike, you have tied with Grub, I believe.
Yeah.
Dawson's Creek with 128 episodes.
Yeah, Dawson's
Damn.
Creek was on forever.
All right, that's another watch along.
Angel with 110, and Felicity had 84. I can't
Fuck
wait
you,
for the
Felicity.
Felicity cast.
Angel keeps coming up today for some reason. Or was
Hey.
it Spike that we talked about
No.
earlier? I forget.
Angel, excuse me, Buffy's true soulmate. Number 8, Comedy Central. We have John Benjamin Has a Van, Lewis Black's The Root of All Evil, and That's My Bush.
Oh, Loose Black.
I'll go with John Benjamin Has a Van.
Mike is eking away now with Lewis
Ooh,
Black
no.
with 18 episodes, 10 episodes to John Benjamin. Sorry, what the fuck was that? And That's My Bush with 8 episodes.
There should have been more of That's My Bush. I wonder how that holds up. That's My Bush. Because that's the whole thing, because they were going to do either a Bush or an Al Gore show, depending on who won. It was the South Park people's live-action sitcom.
Oh, I didn't even know that's what that was. Okay.
Yeah, I remember when it was happening.
I watched a little bit of it, but I don't remember anything about it.
Now we might be in Mikey territory. Number 9, the network being Nickelodeon.
Okay.
The choices are Real Monsters, Angry Beavers, or Cat Dog.
Man, these are all pretty equivalent, I feel like, in terms
Yeah. I'm going to go with the one I'm most familiar with and go with Real Monsters.
Real Monsters. I remember Angry Beaver's last episodes. Man, they made a lot of Cat Dog, though. Way too much. They added a Poochie to Cat Dog at one point.
Yeah.
A Poochie-esque character. I'm going to go with Cat Dog, actually.
Yeah, I could see it being Cat Dog.
And you're right, Mike. It's Cat Dog.
How about that?
Cat Dog, 68 episodes. Real Monsters, 52 episodes. Angry Beavers had 62. Note that each of these shows was usually divided into 2 segments per episode, which doesn't end up affecting the winner.
No. One fine day with a wolf and a purr, a baby was born to cause little stir.
How do you remember that?
He's special.
It's a catchy song. Yeah.
All right. Number 10, the Disney Channel.
Oh, it's gonna be like these tween girl shows that I didn't watch.
Surprisingly
How
not,
dare
Mike.
you say that about these shows?
We have Darkwing Duck, Goof Troop, and Tailspin.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, these weren't Disney Channel shows. These were made for syndication, but I get it. That's fine. These are part of the Disney afternoon. Okay, interesting. Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, and Goof Troop.
I'm gonna go with Tailspin.
I bet Tailspin might be last.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, like these shows were all had relatively similar season orders, I imagine. I think Darkwing Duck was popular, but Goof Troop is easy. I bet Goof Troop. I'm gonna say Goof Troop.
You're both wrong.
It was Darkwing Duck. Yeah, dang it.
Darkwing Duck with 91, Goof Troop 78, Tailspin.
Oh wow.
Much less than I remembered was 65.
Yeah.
You see, Tailspin got started earlier, I think, but then I just assumed they probably were just showing the same episodes over and over.
Is Tailspin
Spin
the
it. Let's
one
begin
with...
it, bear, and grin it. When you're in it, you can win it in a minute. When you spin it, spin it, spin it. Bump, bump, bump. So spin it. Do, do, do. Tailspin.
Is Tailspin the one with what's her name? Rebecca or something?
Yeah, I know you know Rebecca.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know Rebecca.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, Goof Troop had Pete's wife also, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, Darkwing Duck was missing some kind of, mommy dommy.
Oh yeah, it's its big failing.
And that's what we're all missing, really. All right, two more,
yeah.
boys. Two more. Adult Swim. We have Assy McGee, Moral Oral, and Xavier, Renegade Angel.
Moral Oral. I
Moral,
remember that name.
Moral Oral. They had more seasons than you would think. I got to go with that too. Even though it's not going to help me.
Well, you both win points for that. Moral Oral with 43. Assy McGee and Renegade Angel both had 20.
Moral Oral was pretty good, actually.
No, what? Oh, it was claymation, so that's why I avoided it.
Yeah, it's like it was one of those like fake like after school special kind of things, and it would actually be terrifying.
Now, this one isn't specifically tied to a network, but I guess a concept of Sunday comics. So we have Baby Blues, Dilbert, and For Better or For Worse.
I don't know what the other two are, so I'm gonna go with one of those. I'll just guess For Better or For Worse. No, Baby Blues.
Man, I only remember the Dilbert show. I remember I actually kind of liked it, but it did not last long.
No, For Better or For Worse.
Grub, this
I guess I'm gonna
practice for Family Feud is not working right now.
I guess I'm going to go Baby Blue. Dilbert was not on for long, but maybe these other ones were on for less. I at least remember the Dilbert show. It was like 8 episodes, though, which is so little. I'll go with, Baby Blue was the other one?
Baby Blues and For Better or For Worse. Well, Mike, I think you would have won anyway, no matter how this shook out. But you were both wrong because Dilbert.
It was Dilbert.
No, of course it was Dilbert.
How many episodes is Dilbert?
30 episodes.
30 episodes, man. That's more than I remember.
Baby Blues had 26. For Better or For Worse had 16.
Oh man, it's a bunch of bullshit.
But it had 7 made-for-TV specials.
What?
Cool.
Okay. All right. Hope
dumb as
you
hell.
remembered some shows. Matt in Colorado. Matt, thank you so much for that lovely
Thank you, Matt.
and very involved quiz. Quickly, we're going to speed through shout-outs because I think my throat is dying. No one think anything Susio.
Oh, do you need me to do it, buddy?
Oh, it's okay, Mike. It's okay. We'll get
All
there.
right,
We'll get there. I will call upon your powers when I truly need them. When I'm
That's true. You only
laying
get
in
it
an
once.
alleyway. Everybody gets it once. Special shouts out to love you Cheyenne, love you Lily, love you Jace. Hey Nose, a spooky fuck you to you. Eggplant Grandma Pie is in MiNa'vi's search history. Oh, don't be.
That's funny.
Beware of Army of Darkness, the Jandy Man, the Grubbin Head, Reichel Myers, the Tamor 1000, Jeff of the Back Lagoon, Micula, Lucy Face, and the horrifying and deadliest of them all, Bailey. Shouts out to me. 2 years and 200 pounds later, I finally hit my weight goal today. Gained or lost? I'm not saying.
Okay.
Starfish spider emoji, shriek out to thick thighs saving lives.
Jan. That's a web. It's a spider web.
It's a very small font.
That's not a starfish.
Shriek out to thick thighs saving lives, especially in lifeguards and mountain plane crash cannibal situations. Train travelogue pocket. Eventually, y'all. Gasolina by Daddy Yankee. Cosmo from Chainsaw Man. Halloween. Sad face emoji, eggplant emoji, chicken emoji, eggplant in pain emoji, and poop emoji. Happy Halloween. Gasha Duco gang, giant skeletons stand forever. It's not a lake, it's an ocean. Shouts out to the Backlar X MiNa'vi Yowie anthology I'm working on. Striking fear.
All right, I like it. I don't know what he's gonna think, but I'm all for it.
Striking, I like fun.
Fear into the hearts, and while it's in the bourgeoisie, there's just nothing but like occasional like in that show.
And then it slowly gets faster and faster.
We are all just brains piloting bone mechs with meat armor. Hey now, you're an all-star. Whoops, thought that said Shrek outs. Giant Bomb's Extra Life coming soon to a stream near you. Shouts out to Conduit, aka Rowena Valentina Kofi Divina, Apex Legends' first Filipino Legends, which will be playable in a couple of hours. I think it's pretty cute. Her first animated trailer showcases her siblings and cousins cosplaying as other Apex Legends characters, while she coincidentally is cosplaying as herself. Oh, that's sick.
Can you cosplay as yourself? Was that just you being yourself?
You just get dressed.
It's just dressing.
Variables. They seem intense. Pour a semi up to the cribby. Licky on me blicky. Take a flicky, make a movie with me. Take a flicky, make it real drippy. Grub doesn't even need to dress up for Halloween since he's a clown all year round.
Very true.
Drive slow, head on swivel, Chomsky honk, Informer, blame, a licky boom boom down. Folks, the shouts out, it's supposed to be fun shouts out. No, why are we taking jabs at each other? What
a licky boom boom down.
How is that a jab? What is that? I don't know what this is.
Anyway, folks, what do we got going on for the rest of the week? Game Mess Mornings popping off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Blight Club tomorrow. What are we calling it? Ride to Grub, Jefftribution?
Ride to Grub, Jefftribution is what we settled on, I think.
Really rolls off the tongue.
It's great. It's great.
We're really good at naming stuff.
We're the best. We're the best. Voicemail dump
I'll be there
truck
for that, yeah.
Popping off on Thursday. Gosh, I wasn't at the meeting, so I actually don't know what's going on this week.
For Friday, we might do a bit of a grab bag, but WarioWare will be involved in some way, I think. We'll do some WarioWare. Maybe might make some time for some of that Jackbox and stuff. We'll see. There'll be some fun stuff happening. And if it's WarioWare, I want to play it and make a fool of myself because it's a motion control game. So that'd be fun.
It says later today, GB plays Alan Wake 2?
Yeah, we'll see. I want to, but I'm just realizing that I got to get a bunch of stuff set up for Halloween as well. So we'll see if we can still make that happen.
Maybe we could do that tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe we'll shift that around to tomorrow. I want to do that this week, though. I would like to play some of that on this site.
I would love to watch that. We also have the conclusion of this season of Friday Night Forking. Get your forks out. It's the 4th of July. Dan Reichert will be on Friday Night Forking. Also, the premiere episode of Giant Bombcast Revengeance on Friday as well. Should we just settle what we're going to talk about? Is the Switch?
Yeah. I think we're going to talk about is the Switch the best video game console ever made.
Well, I won't be there, but my answer is yes.
Okay, fantastic. We'll put that.
Factor that in.
You can leave some notes for us, and we'll just read them verbatim.
I'm going to put that in an envelope, and we'll see.
Maybe I'll call in from my phone on the boat and scream about Smash Brothers or something.
We'll talk about WarioWare on there as well and stuff like that because we'll have played it by then. So the whole idea is going to work out just like we were hoping.
I'm hoping to have beat Alan Wake 2 by then, and
perfect.
Maybe there'll be time to talk about that there as well. I love and appreciate you. I've been Jan. He's been Jeff. He's been Mike, and Bacalar was Bacalar. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Giant Bombcast. Until then, mwah. Consensual kisses on the cheek only. Except to you. Giant Bombcast is now over. See you later.